Okie dokie. We are back once again. There was a bit of a break there between the previous episode, but anyway, this is the Wormhole Manifest podcast. I am your host, Wormhole Matt, and every episode I have a different guest, and we chit chat about different things, and hopefully, I have a overall goal of keeping the standard topic theme of mental health awareness. And today I have my good friend Jay Jones is back, and I think he froze up. Is he not there? Oh, let's start over. I think I lost you. I think Jay was trying to jump through the wormhole without me and got sucked away. Anyway, the first bit of this segment is very short, and then they're going to go to commercial break just for the sake of editing, because the next section is like 2 hours, and I'll repeat that in the next segment to let you know after the commercial. Thanks for bearing with me as we work these things out, and it's always a bit of construction. It's like being in a construction zone when you're doing editing on a podcast. So yeah, bear with me. Here's the reintroduction to the show, and the beginning of our conversation. So thanks. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wormhole Manifest podcast. I know it's been a little while, a couple weeks or so, but anyway, we're back, and this time I've got my good friend Jay Jones. He's back here. We're gonna go into a few things. The main theme for the show is mental health awareness, but we talk about anything and everything and many different things every episode. So Jay, what's up with you, man? You ready to go back through the wormhole and see what's on the other side?
Yes, I am. Let's go. This is going to be a fun time.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little different real quick, and I want to I've got here, usually when I record, I usually have something to drink. And I rarely drink anymore because I used to be an alcoholic, but it kind of just gets me, I don't know, kind of takes the edge off, and it's like, makes me more like, yeah, I can talk and whatever, but I'm trying something new tonight. I've got this 19 Crimes Cali Red with Snoop.
Hey.
And the funny thing and I just opened, I haven't tried it yet. I want to try it and do like a wine, not like a wine tasting, because that would be like trying many different kinds. It's going to be a wine trial, I guess. And I've never had any wine from 19 Crimes, but when I saw it in the liquor store, I was like, oh man, Snoop Dogg's got a wine. And I was like, I thought that he did have a wine. I thought I've seen one before, but this is a different company. It's like 19 Crimes, and they have like all these people that have like made it through life and become like famous, I guess, after starting off in a different, I don't know, life of crime, I guess. But the funny thing about this bottle is when I was opening it up, I pulled the cork. Where's my camera? Snoop's on the cork too.
Yeah, Snoop has
it like surprised
a lot of everything. He's got a game show. He's got his own weed. I feel like he's got several strains. Like he has like several strains that are just Snoop strains. Like there are ones that I think he himself has either created or paid someone to create. I'm not sure how it works for him, But yeah, I know he has like, I feel like he also has like a hard liquor. I can't remember what it is. Is it like a Hennessy or? And I kind of want
I
to
don't
look it up
know.
because I feel like I know he has something. Snoop is like he is trying to get you where you want to go is what I'll say about Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Like I've been a fan for a long time, and when I saw this, I was like, this would be perfect to try this out on the show when I'm getting ready to record because I got it a couple days ago, and I'm like, I'm recording Thursday. I need to get me something to drink for while I'm recording, you know. And I was like, I'm gonna try that
By the
out.
way,
But it just surprised me when I'm pulling that cork out and I see Snoop on the cork. I was like,
he not only has the
yes.
wine, he also does have a hard liquor. It is Indigo, strawberry gin.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
so if you remember, he also made a song called Gin and Juice, or no, I think was the
Yeah.
song. The song was Gin and Juice, and so he makes a gin. I mean, maybe he makes a juice as well, and then he's like got both corners of the
Hmm.
market. But I feel like he knows his audience. He's like, you
Oh
guys
yeah.
like wine, you like weed, you like gin. I got you.
Well, like the I think a lot of celebrities are starting to do the thing with the weed as it becomes as cannabis and marijuana becomes more um less taboo in places and it's actually legalized in
Yeah,
places like Kevin Smith, him and like Jay and Silent Bob have their own um weed brand. Yeah, like and that's like what their movies are all about, like it's them smoking up. But oh man, did you freeze again? All right, hang on everybody. Just I'll just edit this later and we'll figure it out. Stop. Okay, everybody, thanks for hanging in there. Had a little technical difficulties. Where did we leave off? We were talking about. I was talking about the Snoop Dogg wine.
yep.
I did try it while
Oh,
while you were trying to fix the
yeah.
computer.
How is it?
It's not bad. I
Oh, that's not a ringing endorsement. Anytime someone's like, it's not bad. That means it's not good. You could have been like, oh, it's great, it's fantastic, it's delicious. It's not bad. It's not. If you put that on the bottle and it was just like Snoop Dogg's wine, Matt says it's not bad. I don't think anyone's gonna buy that.
eh, well, here's the thing. Like I don't I do like wine, but
Okay.
uh I'm not like picky, I guess. I'm not like a wine connoisseur. I can't like I can drink I don't know what it is. It's maybe I don't have the palate or whatever to know the difference between all the different elements that are go into making a wine
Hmm.
because I've now I will know the difference between drinking something like this, which actually I will say is a fine quality wine. I can taste it like it tastes like quality
Okay.
versus like some like Mad Dog or something or some Night Train, like
I hate that we call
um
Mad Dog wine. That is not wine. I
well yeah,
know.
it's a
I
drink.
Yeah, it is a beverage with alcohol in it, but it is every time
Yeah,
someone
it's not a
references it
wine.
as a wine, I'm like, I wish we wouldn't. It's
Yeah.
I get the feeling though. I will say this. I
But
think it's so first of all, I think this is a misconception about wine that everyone has that I don't know. I think it's been built because of basically snobbery. So there
yeah.
was a study where they had wine critics and people drink wines and describe the wine and say what the wine was and but they had to do it blindfolded, so they had to tell what the
Hmm.
wine was, and in many cases the snobs could not tell the difference, or the critics, excuse me, could not tell the difference between red or white wine. uh, the
Uh,
notes that everyone tasted were all over the place, and a lot of it is truly because our perception, and I don't even know if our taste buds all taste the same, right? Because like
right.
our experience and what we've done to ourselves, like maybe you were into pop rocks as a kid, and so now your taste buds are all out of whack. I don't know. I don't know what pop
Right.
rocks do. I don't know what they do to your mouth, but it can't be good. They pop around like that. But
Yeah.
it's just I feel like a lot of times we truly do end up with like different taste buds than other people around us, which is why some people like the way certain things taste and the way
Oh
certain.
no, lost your sound. Okay, here's that commercial break. And we'll be back right after this. Well, I decided to go ahead and put the commercial break right there. I mean, it was only a few minutes after the intro or the beginning of the discussion, but we were having too many recording problems. So, in the sake of making it easier to edit, went ahead and cut it there. And then now we'll continue that conversation with Jay and I. And yeah, so you're in it for the long haul after this. So it's like a 2 hour segment. So make sure that there's no breaks or commercials after this. If you have to take a break, please come back. Just pause it and then remember where you left off. And please enjoy the rest of this great conversation. It's a great episode. So please, I appreciate you hanging in there and checking it out. So without further ado, here we go. The rest of the conversation with our guest, Jay Jones from the Frown Town podcast. All right, later. Another slight hiccup there, folks.
That one's embarrassing. That was 100% just me being real not smart, and we'll leave it at that. But no, I think it's so with wine. I think what has happened is we have built this false sense that we have to have like incredible palates, and I think ultimately what matters is if you drink the wine and you enjoy it, then that's a good wine. And other people may drink it and not
Yeah,
enjoy it,
yeah,
and that's okay. Like it doesn't have to be like enjoyed by all of us.
right.
It just has to be enjoyed by you because you're the only one drinking it.
Yeah, and you don't have to like if someone doesn't like a particular like thing, not I mean not just wine or drinking or or alcohol or um or media or comedy or if somebody doesn't like that, you don't have to make them feel like they're less because they don't or like they don't understand everything about that other thing that you think they should
Yeah.
like that's just everybody likes what they like and I don't the thing about wine is that there's just so much of it like there's a million different kinds of wine. How are you supposed to possibly ever try everything? It's like it's difficult for me to go to like when I used to drink all the
hmm
time, my big thing was to go to a new city and scope out as many I would go check out as many
Oh my god.
microbreweries or craft
Yeah.
breweries as I
Same.
could
I used to love
and
that.
try to see all the stuff, I would like and I you can't try
But
everything.
like,
Like I mean you can
okay,
try
that's a
some
fun
like
thing to do though, and I
but
have a friend who
it is
like
fun.
used to love to travel all over the country and just drink like the local regions and microbrew beer because it's just a fun time. So I 100% approve of that message, but I think it starts to fall into like categories, right? Where it's like, okay, so this is how they do a pilsner, or this is how they've done. Like, everyone has like
Yeah,
an ale that's been soaked or no that's been stored in like bourbon barrels. Everyone has one of those
right.
somewhere, like it's like the specialty and everyone has that. Or like, oh, this one is the one with the fruit note, and this fruit note might be cranberries because of where we are, but late other places it's oranges. And so it's like I think
Yeah.
it's
And there's like 30 different kinds of hops
yeah, and
that
it's
you
like,
can
well,
use.
and it's
There's
all
like,
local and regional, but
yeah,
that's a fun time, I think, because you're just kind of experiencing all the different like things that
yeah,
are the different variations of something, which I like in general because I like the idea of like the fact there's different like pizza variations and there's different like cheeseburger
hmm,
variations where if you go to Minnesota they put the cheese inside of the hamburger, which is weird, but it's also cool. There's even different like hot dog variations where like there's a Chicago dog and there's the slaw dog from Atlanta, and like there's all these different like if you go to different baseball parks in the MLB, they actually have specific hot dogs that are made for that city. So there's like a Cleveland dog, there's a hot dog for Chicago, there's one for Atlanta. The ones I know, I feel like there's an LA dog, and there's the one for Seattle. I feel like has like a lot of cream cheese and like some lox involved. I can't remember, but there's a lot of different. I'm into that. I like when there's like a thing that we
Yeah.
have that everyone normally likes, but then we just have variations of it, and it's just whatever you're into. And even if you're like in Chicago and you're
Yep.
like, you know what, I just give me mustard and onions, it's still okay. You're still having a hot dog, and it's still cool.
Yeah, that's
But you
true.
should try
It's
a Chicago hot dog. It's so good, so good.
I think I have. It's been quite a while since I've been up there, but um, I think I had one. I don't remember if I had one out on the street somewhere because
It's
I
a good
don't
place to have one. Yeah.
remember.
Was it like the full Chicago
Yeah,
dog with like the celery salt bun, the pickle, the
I
sauerkraut? I think
I'm
sauerkraut.
trying to. Man, it's probably been like 20 something years, and I remember the big thing I remember about Chicago was um the restaurant where everybody yells at you. It was like I think it was Ed
I was
DeBevick's or
going to say
something,
all
and
of
every you
Chicago.
walk
No.
in and they're like, but yeah, they and Chicago pizza is different
Yeah.
too. They're like it's like super. It's like a pie
Yes.
almost, like a
Huge fan.
very deep.
A lot of
Yeah.
cheese. A lot of
Um,
flavor.
and which is the exact opposite of St. Louis pizza because I'm from St.
Yep.
Louis and St. Louis is like the cracker
Thin crust pizza.
thin
Yeah.
crust pizza with the Provel cheese that you don't find anywhere else in America. Like that's like the only place you can get Provel is
St. Louis.
on a pizza is there. Like and it's amazing. I ordered that stuff. I just spent like 100 and something bucks on just cheese to have shipped to me.
Just have Provel.
So that I can make my own emo style pizza. That's the big uh, name in St. Louis is for having their. If you go to St. Louis, you got to go to Emos to get their pizza. And it's like
I like it.
I don't know. A lot of people you either love it or hate it. A lot of people don't
Did
like
you
it,
know?
and people that are like from New York and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they even sent in a Emos pizza on one of those late night shows. I think it was like
Oh no. Yeah,
oh
people from New York are very
what's his
proud of their
name?
pizza. It's they are maybe too proud, I'd say. I was gonna say that there's a Detroit style pizza that is actually different from New York style and Chicago and St. Louis style.
I heard about that. Like I think it might have been in like one of your
Yeah, I made
tweets
a
or
huge
something
deal
like
about
that.
it when I found out about it on Twitter because I didn't realize it was a thing. And so there is a city council, a woman who was running for city council who was a guest on our show, Alicia Craig, who's from Detroit. And I mentioned that I was watching like a basketball game. I think it might have been a Detroit Pistons game, and Little Caesars had a Detroit style pizza. And I was like, what? Detroit has a style of pizza? And then so she responded and was like, yes. First, they do have a Detroit style pizza. Second, the type that Little Caesars makes is not great. The best style to get is this place in Detroit called Buddy's. Now, I haven't been to Detroit since we had this conversation, but I remember the pizza place. And whenever I go to Detroit, I'm not sure how safe it'll be for me to go to Buddy's, but I want to go to Buddy's. Like I want to go to Buddy's. So I just really want to go to Buddy's and just to grab pizza. So I had the Detroit style pizza from Little Caesars. I will say 10 out of 10 was really, really good, but it reminded me of almost like it's what we used to call a pan pizza that like I don't know if you ever had like the pan pizza from Pizza Hut, but it's really close to
Yeah.
that where it's that kind of like puffed up like it's almost like they
Hmm.
it's a little bit more dough and they let it cook for a little longer and get crispy around the edges. It's got a little bit more grease to it.
Oh
And
yeah.
and then it feels like almost like a focaccia with like a pizza on top, if you will. And it's really good. I'm a huge fan of it. But apparently I haven't had the best variation of it. I have to go to Buddy's in Detroit to do that. So next trip to
Yeah. I've
Detroit.
never been to Michigan at all. I don't think
I
it's like
know people
one of
from
the only
Michigan.
states I haven't
I
been
know
to.
people from Michigan who and actually I have tried some Michigan things. So and part of this was because I was watching the show called The Detroiters on I think it was on Comedy Central, but it's on like Paramount Plus now, but that's neither here nor there. I was watching it and it's about Detroit. And one of the things they talk about in that show a lot is Verner's ale, like ginger ale, which is a
Hmm.
brand of ginger ale I've seen before. Did not realize it apparently originated out of Detroit. So I tried some. It is awful. It is not good. Um, and I tweeted about it because it tastes like medicine. It tastes like it tastes medicinal. I mean, I get like if you were to mix it with an alcohol, I would enjoy it, and I understand like that aspect of it. Like it would go really well with several types of like hard liquor. Like a good brown hard liquor would go really well with it. Like a whiskey in that would be great. But just by itself, it's just medicine. It just tastes like medicine. And so I tweeted about it, and that's how I found out that that's how I guess I first found out that Alicia was from Detroit. Alicia Crank was from Detroit because she responded with "Don't you talk bad about Verner's," and that's when that apparently you cannot. Detroit people love Verner's and swear by it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not here to take away anything from the great city of Detroit. I need to start off with that. Especially since I haven't been to Buddy's yet. And as I just mentioned, I don't need to create a hostile environment for myself. But I will say this about Verner's. It is 75% high fructose corn syrup. And I'm not making that up. It is literally on the nutrition facts that is 75% high fructose corn syrup. That is a high count for a soda. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, if you enjoy it, kudos to you. But I will also say that for a 75% sugar soda, it tastes a lot like medicine, and that is a truly impressive feat. You shouldn't have that much sugar and taste like medicine, yet somehow it does. It manages it. I don't know how it does, and I don't know where the ginger is. You can't taste any ginger in Vernon's ginger ale. Maybe Verner's, that may be the most disrespectful thing I said about Verner's, is that you can't taste the ginger. There's no ginger in it. Unless ginger is medicine, in which case you can totally taste the ginger.
I wonder if they make some kind of medicine out of ginger. Like I can kind of see like some ancient remedy, or like using like people use like
It's
ginseng
supposed
and
to be good
all
for
kinds of different
like
root stuff.
maybe I'm thinking ginseng, but I know it's supposed to be good for like circulation. I feel, and and I'm sure if you looked up like ginger health benefits, I'm sure it has one.
I know there's like if you eat some ginger or add some ginger to something, like it can help with like upset stomach or like nausea or something
Oh,
like
there you
that.
go.
Like I heard that's like it helps for
It's
if you feel sick, I think.
it makes a fantastic. It's a really nice additive for like apple based or cinnamon based baked goods. There's always a little touch of ginger in there.
Hmm.
It's a little tartness, a little niceness to it. I'm a huge fan of it. Uh, I use a lot of
I always
ginger.
get there's a lot of ginger. They put that whenever I go to get
Yep.
sushi. There's always that
Yeah,
little
the palate
strips of
cleanser.
ginger stuff on there. But like I can't stand it really. Like I've tried it a few
Mm-hmm.
times and I'm like, what I like the wasabi.
Yeah.
Like I mix the wasabi with the soy in a little dish and I dip all my sushi into that and I just eat it until I can't eat anymore. Like I just and I want to keep eating because I'm like I love it so much and I'm like
So the
and I just love that feeling of like my sinuses feeling like they're like clearing and I'm like, oh, my face is burning. Like I just want
So
more.
I've always been told, I don't know if this is
So
true or
weird.
not, but I was told that the ginger was for palate cleansing. So like you would, as you're eating one of your rolls or your nigiri, because it always comes in like a set, right? It's like 3 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
To before you transition to your next, you take a little piece of the ginger and you eat it to like take the flavor of the last roll away,
Hmm.
clear out your mouth of sushi flavor, and then begin consuming your next sushi roll. That's what I've
Maybe
always been
that's my
told.
problem.
I don't know if that's
Maybe
true.
like with the wine, like I say it's not bad or it's pretty good. Like because I don't actually taste things. Like I just
Really?
like with sushi, I put like I'll go and get sushi, but I'll have like a bunch of different kinds on the plate, and I just keep rotating back and forth with all the different
Yeah.
kinds, and they don't really taste a whole lot different to me, but they're just all really good.
Can you?
And like with wine, I can drink like you could set down 10 bottles of wine and open them all, and then pour me a glass from each one throughout the night, and I'll be really drunk by the end of the
It's a lot of
night,
wine. Yeah.
but I won't remember which wine
Yeah,
was
that's fair.
which. Like,
But so for sushi, I think it's
yeah,
and for food and sushi, I think okay. So for sushi, I tend to agree with you because after a certain point, a raw fish is a raw fish is a raw fish, and so it all kind of starts to taste a little bit the same. Though I will say with nigiri, I don't have that issue. So I think the difference is it's what so like the rolls. A lot of the rolls all start to kind of have a little bit of similar flavor. Like, and I can pick out like distinct things, like oh, this one is cream cheese in it, or this has tuna in it,
right.
or this has like things that are really that stand out. Like the other thing that stands out is not avocado, but well, I just forgot it. So let's just move forward. So I can pick out some of that, and so like the sharper flavors, but overall it kind of tastes the same. But nigiri, which is
Yeah.
the like rice with the meat on top of it, that I think has
Mhm.
the most distinct flavors and texture, and I tend to enjoy that more as a sushi entree. It's very expensive because it is just a straight up
Yeah.
chunk of raw fish, which I guess it shouldn't be. They don't have to cook it, but it is a very expensive like giant chunk of
Right.
fish. But
And
it's
and
the
it throws me off. I've had the kind that it's like a, I mean, because sushi, I guess what I didn't realize this, but when they make it, it's like a
yep
log, like a long roll, and then they slice it into the things. But like I've gone to places that were like sushi
yeah
buffets, and so like they were already sliced, and I didn't know that it came like the log thing. But I went to one place where you ordered it special, like you ordered which one that you wanted. Like I was like, oh, I want it. I was used to trying like 15 different
yeah
kinds, but
like a little bit of this, a
uh,
little bit of that, a little bit
they
of this.
brought out one, and it was like deep fried,
Yep, love it.
but it was like, and I was like, and it was called like the Godzilla roll or something, and I was like, what? I mean, like, because I had to order it because it was Godzilla, but I was like, okay. And then when it came out, it's it's only like deep fried like on the
Yeah,
outside somehow,
yeah.
and I'm like, how the hell did they do that? It's still like the raw fish and stuff on
There's
the
a
inside, but
there's a
or whatever it
there's a
was.
place here that called the well here as in Edmonds where I live. So I live in Edmonds, which is a small little suburb outside of Seattle, and they have a really popular like seafood restaurant called the Market that makes like specialty dishes. And one of their specialty dishes was a deep fried sushi roll, and it was the most amazing thing of all
Yeah,
time. I like
I
a deep
bet.
fried sushi roll. Now you can go to like most sushi places and get like the deep fried tempura rolls where like the shrimp is deep fried and they deep fry the cover and it's great. But like a really good deep fried roll where it's deep fried on the outside and then inside is just straight up and down cold raw fish is shocking to me. It's like, how did you do this? What magic took place
Yeah,
to make this happen? And it is such an experience, and I love it. I love every part of it, and
yeah,
I've had like the rolls where everything was deep fried, where like the shrimp inside was deep fried, and like the roll outside was deep fried, and that doesn't impress me. But when I got one, I bit into, I was like, this is cold. The outside is hot. That was when I was like, how did you do this? What magic did you
yeah.
do? That was the most impressive thing ever. But yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't get how they do that. But yeah,
yeah,
like
I
maybe
don't.
like I don't
Maybe it's
like really.
frozen, and then I
I
don't know. I because the rice is never greasy, right? So it can't be. I don't know how they do it, and maybe someone who is a magician can explain the trick or the illusion to me. But I don't understand the illusion. It escapes me. I can't understand it. It is delicious. How do you
yeah.
feel about like two things? So I want to ask how you feel about eel bowls, like grilled eel bowls, like an unagi bowl. I think it's an unagi. Yeah, unagi bowl.
Unagi.
How do
Yeah.
you feel about grilled eel? And then I also am curious, and I like to ask people this, especially like who are into sushi, because like I love grilled eel bowls, and I wish they were more popular. Uh, but I also want to ask how you feel about what's the other thing?
The eggs.
No,
Fish eggs.
no, I like I sure if you have a feeling about the roe. Personally, I love it. I'm into it. I was thinking more along the lines of like so I think I might just be asking about like sashimi. So like where it's the very thinly sliced. There's no rice involved. You get like super thinly sliced arranged pieces of fish.
uh,
So that comes with no
I think I've
rice.
only yeah, I've only maybe tried that like once, and that was at me and a friend of mine that worked together. We were in um, we were leaving. We left Okinawa and then we flew into Tokyo and then we had to stay the
Mhm.
night. And the hotel we were in had a sushi bar that like nobody was
Oh my
in,
god,
but it
the
was
dream.
like it was weird. We walked in and it was just like this little like you sit down in like front of the glass window thing and the guy comes out and asks you what you want and he just makes it right there in front of you. And he made like we were just like picking things off the menu, I think, or something. And I think there was something I remember there was a thinly sliced something without anything else. And I don't I don't really remember that well, but I haven't had it since then. I don't know if I liked it or not. I'll have to ask my friend next time I talk to him because we're still friends, and this was like 15 years
Yeah,
ago, and we bring it up every once in a while. Because he actually had to leave the next morning, but I stayed an extra day in Tokyo so that I could go down to Akihabara and the old electric town and do some shopping and stuff.
yeah.
So he was like, "All right." After we ate sushi and stuff, he was like, "I'll see you." And I'm like, "All right, man. I'll see you back stateside." And now 15 years later, he's like, "Yeah, remember that sushi we had
That's
at that
pretty cool.
restaurant in Tokyo?" I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, that's actually. I like when I
I don't
run
know what
into.
we had.
I, I'm curious about because I always wonder how people feel about sashimi in general, just because I feel like that's where most people kind of tend to shy away because there's no rice. It's just straight like Nigeria. I feel like it's
Yeah,
that ground where at least you have the rice to hold on to. You can still kind of get your like soak the rice a little bit in some soy sauce and get like a lot of the same flavors you normally would get. But I think with sashimi, it's just straight fish, and I always am curious to see how people feel about that. I also find
yeah.
it interesting when I go with someone to get sushi and they insist upon eating with a fork. I always find that fun and enjoyable. It's always really fun.
I definitely don't
I,
do
I I
that.
don't I don't want to shame anyone for doing it. Is there's no shame in it. It's just this is not set up for fork eating, and it's fun to
Right.
watch someone
I
try.
don't know how I would just feel weird like stabbing into a roll or a piece of raw fish and dipping it in something and then eat. It just seems kind of. It's almost like eating sushi seems like there's like a ritual behind it, you know, like it's a ceremony
Yeah,
of sorts, you know, you got to like go into it with like the intention to like take in the whole thing and like the think about the history and the culture and where it comes from and the, you know, like all this stuff, and I just like want to absorb all that and I want to be part of it, you know, and I'm like I got my chopsticks, you know, it's like
yeah.
and I
I'm the same way.
do all that, but like I feel like I would be like it would be like sacrilege almost to like stab a roll with a fork and
I
like
uh when I first met my wife, I think I feel like I bought sushi because I'm a huge sushi fan and my wife is not, and it was weird for me at the time to try to make that make sense because I was like, how do you not like sushi? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna get you into it. You're gonna like it. Don't worry. Yeah, yeah. So I took her.
Rachel's the same way. She don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
She never eats
I
it.
understand it. Some people are just not into it. It's a texture thing for some people, and some people it's a taste thing. But I get it.
Yeah.
So like I took my wife to this one sushi bar that I was like a huge fan of. That was like near where I lived at the time, and I still remember she was like, I can't really use chopsticks, and then she was like, I'll just use a fork, and she like just straight up and down like cut it in half, like just took the fork and just cut the sushi roll little piece in half, and I was just like, this is everything about this is wrong. I can't. I should never have brought you here. This was a mistake. I see that now. I understand now that, and I will say that it is. Like I said, I'm not shaming you if that's what you're into. I get it. This is what makes you feel comfortable in eating food. I'm not here to tell you not to, but do understand that I will laugh at it. It is very funny to me. it's
Yeah.
it's extremely funny, and I think it's funny to me just because it's such a terrible experience that you chose. And I don't mean that. I guess there's a little bit of Schadenfreude, right? Where it's such a terrible experience, but you did choose that experience. And I'm just laughing at you to have the worst experience ever with sushi. So maybe it is a little bit mean spirited. I apologize. It's a little Schadenfreude. It's a little bit mean spirited, but yeah, you did choose literally the worst experience. I don't know. Maybe it's also a little bit of mean spirited, but because it's like, well, you chose the worst experience, but like you could have had the best experience. It's right there, right next to you. It's just there. You just didn't want to try something
Yeah.
new.
It's like just take that next step. You're almost there.
Yeah,
Like, but
like a lot of things in life,
I
right?
think going back to the thing with like the wine and the sushi and the things that I think I don't taste really
Yeah.
like I think it's I do get what you were saying about how I can tell if there's like cream cheese or there's different flavors in there, different notes of some spices or whatever. The the spicy tuna roll is probably one of my favorite ones because of I can tell it's a little bit more
Hmm.
spicy, like, but it also it doesn't taste like tuna like out of a can like tuna fish. It tastes it's which I like also. I do eat tuna out of the can like all the time, but and it's very good for you. But
Yeah, like
um
omega 3, right?
uh I just like the flavor of it, like, and it's not like a and it's kind of a texture thing too. Like, I mean, some of the ones I eat, I guess like the unagi or the eel,
Yeah.
like they'll have like a different texture, and it's like I don't dislike it, but it's just different than some of the other standard rolls, or like a California roll, which is just like
Yeah.
vegetables or whatever. Like, and but like I'll eat all of it. I don't care. I'm just like I see it and I'm like, oh, I'll try that. I know it's gonna be good and I'm gonna like it,
I'm
but I'll be like,
so
I might sit there for a second and think like that kind of tastes
at the sushi
a little weird or different, but
buffet, I'm a little bit more discriminate. So I will eat everything. I love a lot of it's pretty much every sushi type I will eat. But like when you go to like the sushi buffets where it's like the boats are going around, you just pick up what's coming by and you just get whatever's going by. It's just whatever's prepared. For those, I'm more
yeah,
discriminate, and I think I tend to gravitate towards. I prefer out of those either nigiri, so I prefer like the rice with meat on top, so like the fish on top of the rice. I prefer that, or it has to be like a deep fried roll. I don't typically
yeah,
care for like I like a spicy tuna roll, and that's where I will make an exception. And a crunchy, any crunchy roll I'm into. But if it's
yeah,
not spicy, crunchy, or deep fried, I'm kind of not into it. And then after that, I'm just looking for nigiri. And I think it's just because I fill up so quickly on rolls that I need like a really strong roll experience. And I prefer the nigiri experience in general.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, but sushi talk is
Uh,
making me want sushi. So let's talk
I know.
about toxic video gamers. Um,
Yeah, um, I wanted to go into this a little bit before we talk about it. I let's see. I made some notes earlier and I did a little research
okay.
online. And to kind of let everybody else know, to kind of segue them into the conversation with us. I saw Jay tweet a week ago or so about um, video games being toxic and wanting to quit doing video games. You said that you think you're going to quit because you tried to get back into some gaming. This is not quoting, I'm just paraphrasing, and it just wasn't working out. There's too much toxicity in online gaming these days. I made a few suggestions, like just gaming with a particular crew or a group of friends. Um, but I think it's the competitiveness of it that even with people can still put you into a negative space or something like that.
Um, to an
Um,
extent, I think
or
the and I can walk into the most frustrating part, and I guess where all this sparked off from. So when I first started playing video games online long ago with the Xbox, I was my gamer tag was just the adjective underscore or the adjective underscore or adjective J, right? No underscore.
Edge of
It was
J.
just the adjective J. That's what it was. And it was attached to my Twitter handle because I just always have adjective J, and so that kind of worked. So I went to Korea, got rid of my Xbox Live account when I went to Korea, and just kind of played some video games on like my laptop. Gravitated towards like League of Legends and at the time Star Wars: The Old Republic. Just basically MMORPGs, which was just a bigger thing for me. Came back to the states and then just kind of quit playing all video games in general. And so I had a bit of a revival a little bit back. I got a new laptop that I could play video games on, and so I picked up a couple games and gave it a shot. And when I picked up those games, I picked another gamer tag and I tried Adjective J. This time, of course, I couldn't get it because I've been around since 2009, and it's impossible to once you put something into the zeitgeist to ever get it, to be able to keep it. That's just how it works. So I couldn't get any alterate or any variations on it. So I landed on a variation of a Twitter handle I used to use called Black Godzilla. So when you call yourself Black Godzilla, the first part of that everyone gravitates towards and always notices, and I'm saying that because I have been basically bearing the brunt of a lot of like racial animosity, is the fact that I'm my name is Black. I get everything from people calling me racial slurs, which whatever, it's video gaming. I understand that's the thing. And by the way, I'm on a PC, so it's not even like calling me. It's people typing racial slurs at me on a PC. To one person every time so the first time I jumped on to a game, they saw that my name was Black Godzilla, and they spent the entire time in the lobby just talking shit about me for being black. Right. So, and this is a this is a Star Wars Battlefront 2. This is a heroes versus villains where we're doing like you have Luke on one side and Vader on the other side, and a bunch of heroes that are light and a bunch of heroes who are dark, all fighting against each other. Right. So,
Yeah.
I think I grabbed Obi-Wan or something, and actually no, I think I was Dark Side. I had Vader, so I get Vader. Preemptively, if you've played this game and you hear that, you think, oh, you got the tank, and it's like, yeah, because I was had people talking trash about me being black in the lobby, so I get the tankiest character, and then I proceed to just whoop ass all across that game. Like, I mean, just the most infuriating stuff to where I'm purposely being infuriating and like doing the type of things that only Vader can do to make you upset. And I know it's would make you upset. The type of thing where I'm like, yeah, if you're playing against me, you're furious right now. Like you're just cursing everything about the world and want to break the game, and to the point where they quit halfway into the game. So I was housing them so bad they just quit. So I'm still, playing the game, going through the cycle of, going to other lobbies. And every time I run into them at that lobby from that point forward, they just say, ew, black, and then leave. Now, my name is Black Godzilla. It could just be ew, Black Godzilla. I don't want to type out the whole thing and then leave the lobby. Also, I did just house the shit out of them, like really badly beat them. So I can understand them being like, I don't want to take it. I said some racial stuff to him, and then he beat the fuck out of me to the point where it may have felt like I was even hounding them. I was not hounding them. I need you to understand that. You just need to understand that like they would spawn, and then they would walk by me, and I'd be like, well, guess what? I remember you said what you said, and then I killed them. That's it. Was I purposely looking for them? No. Was I just completely trashing them every time I saw them? Yes. So after that incident, it was just, I noticed there would just be more and more, especially specifically around the dueling aspect of Battlefront. So when you play normal Battlefront, you're just shooting each other. People talk trash, but I mean, like, whatever. It's like 40 people in a lobby or in a room playing. If you're not top five, so what? 35 other people aren't top five. So that's whatever. No one cares about that. There's a solid chance that like whoever wins or loses isn't affected by your gameplay only. That dynamic has changed, quite frankly, when you play like an 8-person game where like your gameplay 4 versus 4 does matter. And what I noticed is, when if I played well, people who talk trash about me, because first of all, everyone, when they first see my name as Black Godzilla, immediately starts talking trash about me being black. There's not a person who does not do, like, it's at a point where I expect it, and I knew this was a thing that would happen from my days on Xbox Live and using like voice mics. The minute someone heard my voice, they would just automatically like, "Are you black?" And then they find out you're black, and they're like, "Ah!" And then racial slur, racial slur, racial slur, racial slur. Right? So I'm comfortable with that. I realize it's a thing that happens. For this, I think what happened with my name is just that I was just courting it. So there's just people just and it was specifically around Battlefront 2. I noticed like when I played, because I had the same name for Star Wars Squadrons. When I played Squadrons, everyone was super cheerful because we're not really, well, to an extent, like everyone that I can talk to is on my team, so we're super cheerful and communicating and working together. There's no one just being a dick because we're on a team. I think when you go head to head with that type of competitive spirit, it brings that out. And so what I'm saying is to get it to a long roundabout point. And it's not even really the racial aspect of it that I think is making me want to quit. I'm more frustrated with it just being a space again where I can't like just relax. Like I like if there
Mm,
is a game, and for the most part, the games I tend to enjoy, for me, it is about just zoning out and I just want to shoot some stuff, right? So like I'll jump on like a co-op game, which is still pretty fun. Just zone out, shoot some computer players, and that's fun. I actually enjoy that. It's when you begin to compete, I think head to head, I find that the types of people that are drawn to that don't share a sensitivity around how they well really to be fair, the type of people who are drawn to competitive gaming are toxic. Let's just throw it out there. Fine, they're just it tends to be
yeah,
a toxic, or tend to be toxic. I can't say everyone is, but they tend to be toxic. It tends to be a very toxic masculine place where even if it's not racial slurs, it's slurs about someone's sexual identity. It slurs about someone's sexual orientation. It slurs about where someone lives. It slurs about it's such to an extent where it's just like I just would rather live my life without this. And like I said,
yeah,
it just kind of pushed me to a point where I was like, because again, I had a large swath of games I was kind of playing, and little by little, I just kind of started deleting them and being like, I don't want to play these anymore. The only one that really didn't fall key to this was Jedi Fallen Order, and that was just mainly because I couldn't play it every day, and I needed to. Like to beat it, you have to play it every day. You got to remember where you are in a puzzle, or die multiple times trying to figure out where you were, and I just don't have that. I don't have patience to spend a week on a game that I haven't, or spend like a day on a game that I haven't played for 2 weeks, just dying over and over again trying to remember where I was. So that one kind of
yeah,
hit the wayside. But a lot of the games that I would play, like even the NBA 2K, the thing that made it kind of suck for me was I would go and play like street ball with people, and you could do pickup games with other players, and that got real toxic and a lot of trash talking, and it was just a lot. So long story short, I just my experience with it, I've just gotten to a point where I was like, I don't need this in my life. I don't need the competitiveness, and then also I don't need to feel as if I have to be like I have to beat the crap out of someone in a game every time that they're like racist to me, because then it's just me like first of all I'm just wasting my time, and then second it's not like they're like I beat the crap out of them, they're like, well, you know what, I don't hate black people anymore. I don't think that's happening. I feel like it's still
right.
we're still here. So I
They're
just
still gonna think how they think or feel how they
you know what I'm
feel
saying?
and react how they
Now that you
react.
beat me with
You know,
Darth
it's
Vader, I have some different thoughts. No, I think I think you still hate me. I think you still aren't into it. I mean, I feel a little bit better. It was fun for me, but then like on the flip side of that, at some point, like I'm not the best, the best player of all time. At some point, I'm going to get my ass kicked by races, and then what? Do I just did this person just call me n-word names from now? Like what do we do from there? It's like it's just one of those things
yeah,
where like I was like, I don't want this anymore. I don't need this in my life. And so I just started trying to make a shift towards something that was not as interactive towards video gaming. So maybe I don't drop all video, or if it is interactive, like I choose who I interact with. So to your point, maybe I do
yeah,
play only with a specific group of friends. But I was actually thinking, and I think I said this in the chat that we had about this surrounding the tweet. I was looking more towards trying to find people who were looking for like a tabletop game, or for like an
mm,
actual like a live RPG where I just get like a group of 4 or 5 friends and we just like tabletop play it,
yeah.
because that satisfies that level of entertainment for me. Like it is all just kind of an entertaining factor, and for me, like the
Yeah, and it's cool too because you're like socializing
yeah
on a different level. Like you're not just sitting alone and dealing with people that are wherever in the world. Like um, yeah, I grew up playing like D&D and stuff like
yeah,
that. So like I get that, and we it was a great time.
it still
I know
is.
it would be really difficult for me to do that now because I live in the middle of freaking nowhere,
Yeah,
and the closest friend I have that's a physical friend that I know where he lives still lives an hour and a half away. Like, so it's not like
well
we can,
there's
get together just me and him and play
there's digital
D&D
platforms
because
to play. So like I was in a game over the quarantine that was a D&D game where we played using, I think it's Fantasy Grounds. So Fantasy Grounds is just like a little base platform where it doesn't have any of the campaign. Well, it does have the maps and like characters and like dice, so you can roll and kind of, and it keeps up with all the like the rules. So you build out your character within
Mm.
Fantasy Grounds, and then like you can tell a story and then interact with Fantasy Grounds, like roll, and it you know it keeps track of your hit points and all that for you. But I mean that's an option, or you could just do a good old fashioned Zoom game where someone just has like a mic, a camera on like a table, and a camera on the GM, and everyone's just on the in the game. I think there's ways to do it remotely, which is kind of exciting, and that's kind of what I'd rather do. I think I would have more fun and again satisfy that itch for something that's like a story that's interactive. I think would be more satisfied from a tabletop RPG than I'm currently getting from video games.
Yeah. Something I'm just going to throw out there, like what um, my friend Rob has done with his JSS international team on Discord and stuff. They have like a Friday night game night, and we get on Discord, and then he'll start up. There's a like an interactive game thing called like the Party Pack or something like
Yeah,
that, and it's the and it's just like they're like random like trivia type games or
yeah,
like drawing on a
yeah,
drawing
yeah.
pad with your
Like
mouse
Jackbox
and
type
just
games. Yeah, yeah,
jackbox. Yeah, that's what it is. And I've done that a few times and had a really good time. It is kind of it's kind of weird. Like you're sitting there and you're like you see your friends and you're online and you're like having fun together and doing this stuff and he streams it while we're doing it too. So like anybody who wants to check it out on Twitch can tune in and be like, oh look at these knuckleheads like playing this trivia game, you know,
yeah,
like it's funny. And streaming is like a whole different thing too. There that has like its own levels of like toxicity.
it does.
And
Yeah,
I was gonna say like I did a quick search earlier and I said or I found that if you Google toxicity on in online gaming, here's what comes up immediately. The question is online gaming harmful? And then there was a study done, and I'll cite the reference in the uh, description of the show, but the study found that 7 out of 10 players say that they've experienced some form of toxic behavior described as sexual harassment, hate speech, threats of violence, doxing, and other abusive chat or insulting voice activity. And then right below that, it said, what is gaming toxicity? So, like, to describe that, it was like disassociative anonymity or anonymity. How do you say that?
yeah. I think you got
Within
it.
the gaming community is a huge contributing factor to online toxicity. Players often berate, belittle, bully, and threaten others with no fear of repercussions. Gamers often engage in toxic behavior because they are able to dissociate their poor behavior with their real lives. So, going along with what you were saying, like those people that like you may kick their ass, you know, or they may eventually come around and kick your ass, and then you're like, well, a racist one. Like, you know, it's like they're disassociating their poor life skills of you know in reality, and they're like venting it online, it seems like, in a way. Maybe I don't
Yeah,
know, like I my only um the only thing that's happened to me online when I was trying to stream with my son really wanted to play. He wants to always play games with me online and stream it and stuff. And we never know what to play because we don't like the same kind of games. So he's like, you got to try this game called Terraria. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it and I'll stream it. So he's upstairs in his room on his computer, and I'm downstairs on mine, and I start the game. And then I start the stream going, and I named it Terraria or something. And then he's got the stream. He's watching the stream upstairs on his like second monitor while he's also playing the game, so he can see what I'm doing
yeah,
and all this stuff. Well, and he can see the chat window. Well, these trolls just jump in the chat and start like calling me a fat bitch and like all this like hateful stuff for like, and I'm like thinking this is like right in front of my kid. My kid's only like, I think it was 12 at the
yeah.
time. And I'm like, my God, like, is this, you know, I'm trying to teach him how to be a streamer. And like, he's got like dozens of followers for streaming Minecraft games
Hmm.
and his own custom Minecraft servers and all this. But I'm like, the shit that he's going to have to deal with, like if he's on stream and people can see with a webcam and all this, and that just, it was very like weird experience for me. Uh, and of course, I reported those people that were saying all that stuff and blocked them on Twitch. But it kind of opened my eyes to the fact that all the people, like the millions of streamers out there, especially like black streamers or female, like the women, like the gamer girls and
Hmm.
stuff, they probably put up with so much
Oh,
shit
tons.
from
Yeah.
creepers that get on there and just start like stalking them and doing all kinds of crazy
I
shit,
think
and it's like, holy
it's
shit, man.
compounded. I think for women of color, particularly in that space, just because it is very much a space where, if you are anything outside of white and man, you're othered. I remember for a long time in gaming, it was this big deal that let's see, I'm trying to remember exactly when. I can't remember exactly when I made it. It became like a big deal for me, but like I still remember when they allowed you to personalize like faces and personalize the character you're going to play with. I remember it because for a long time after that, you still couldn't change skin color. You still couldn't. So it's just like, oh, you can be
Mm,
a white guy, but you can't be. And then eventually, like, well, or you could be a white girl, and then finally, like, or you could be black. And it's been kind of slowly like edging out. So now is at this point where it says you can be all of these different things. But I still remember there was some backlash at one point. I think it was GTA 5 or 4, the one where you had to be CJ or had to be a black guy. I remember people just getting upset about that, like, oh, well, I have to play as a black person, and I don't know. I feel like it's I understand that it's a small subset of the population, but it does feel as if a very large subset of that population plays video games and is active in playing video games. And I think it even stems back to I think everything that happened with Gamergate, where it was just gamers harassing people. Essentially, they were just harassing and like sexually harassing and doxing people, primarily just for efforts to other them.
hmm.
Yeah, it's a very frustrating part about video gaming, I think, and I would be curious to
Yeah,
see like what motivates it. I mean, obviously, I know racism, but I'm actually very curious as to see like
right.
to your point. I know we talk about this kind of disassociative anonymity and being anonymous to the point where like you feel like you can say and do anything without repercussions, but I don't know if that's all of it. So like does that mean then that you are saying and doing anything that you and things that you don't believe in just because you feel like there's no repercussions? And what does that say about us if
Hmm.
if there's no repercussions, then even things we don't believe in we're willing to say or do? What does that even say about how
Wow.
we feel
Yeah.
about language? Like, does that mean then that our language is like on what we think of as being, taboo or societally unacceptable? That it's only societally unacceptable or taboo when society can't find us to punish us?
Hmm. Yeah. That's a very good point. Very interesting to because you think about it that like on a psychological level, there's like all these people out there, and nobody knows what or who, nobody knows what anybody else is thinking,
Hmm.
and if someone acts a certain way, like online, if they know they're truly anonymous, they could, it's like, I don't know, I guess to me it's like, why pretend to be something you're not? And then I think about it like, and we've talked about this before about how I was kind of blaming the whole Trump administration on like a thing that happened with like the Large Hadron Collider in Geneva. Like it opened a wormhole and a whole reality shifted, but you were like, no, it's much simpler than that. It's and I'm like, duh, man. Like it just, people are just they like worship these celebrities and all this crazy stuff, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't have to be something like so like my mind goes to these far reaches of the wormhole, like through, space and time, and like tries to figure out something like what is a reasonable answer for this problem, in modern society. But it's like it's I don't know, like it's crazy to think that people are still like pretending to be one thing, but like while all these people and racists were kind of sitting, they were putting their beliefs like on the back burner, or like they were kind of shoving it in a box depending on who they're around,
Yeah.
like, and they just kind of like when they go out to the store, they're like, I need to act a certain way so that I don't like cause an issue with people surrounding me if I'm around people of color or whatever, and it's like it's that just sucks to be them. Like I think, like why would you pretend to be something like you? It's like I feel bad a lot of times for me being who I am,
Hmm.
and just like because I don't really believe in like a religion. I don't have a faith. I'm just kind of out here grabbing, reaching for things that I think are interesting and talking to whoever think I can learn something from. And I don't, I try not to like discriminate. I know there's times when my privilege comes out, and I've started to recognize that more and more. And it's like, oh, like, the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, like if you like if you're a black dude and you go into a town, you start pointing a gun at people, you're gonna get taken out pretty damn quick. But they like, you know,
Yeah.
that
It's a
all
different
that
experience.
shit happened, and it's just like,
I
fuck,
think
man.
it's
Like,
what I find the most interesting about all of this is, supposedly who you are at your core is what you are when no one else is around, or when I guess more perceptively is what you are when the consequences of anyone hearing or seeing what you have said don't exist. Right? I think that's more to the point. So
mm,
like the if you could detach from the shame and embarrassment of like I said this thing and someone heard it, if you can detach from punishment of it, and how other people are going to perceive you going forward, and the quote unquote consequences of your actions. I think once you detach that, then the things that you do, then that's what you are at your core. I guess what I find most
yeah,
interesting is that when uh, you take the audience that is drawn the most to video games, and you give them this ability to remove the embarrassment and shame of saying something, to remove everything. I guess it doesn't remove everything, because there's also the thrill of saying that. That's the thrill is still there, so that's not removed. You still can be like, ooh, I'm being bad, that's still there. But then when you remove like consequences and punishment, I wonder what it is that is, I guess, or what it says that so many of the people that are drawn to playing video games are those that would dive into racism or bigotry or sexism or misogyny. And I find that
yeah,
interesting, mostly because I mean I get that there's a lot behind it, besides than just video games that are drawing. I mean, video games themselves, as an audience, I think the majority of audiences for video games are are white men. So I mean, maybe it's something overarching more to this. Maybe there's and I know we've talked about like toxic masculinity in white men before, so maybe that's what it is, and then we're just seeing a reflection of that. And if that's the case, then I guess it should, ideally, as toxic masculinity is being addressed and is being kind of like confronted, you would think, again, this is just, you would think that it would be that gaming would be less toxic. So theoretically, I would feel that gaming would be less toxic now than it was, for example, like 10 years ago. And I think
yeah.
maybe what I experienced was that no, we're still full on, haven't learned anything toxic, and that was weird to me.
Hmm. Yeah, and I wasn't even really gaming. I don't think I gamed online. Um, I did. a little bit. Maybe it was about crap like 16 or 17 years ago, like when I first got like a
Yeah.
laptop and I first had kind of high speed internet, and I found an online game that was like an RPG, and I told a friend of mine about it, and we got on there and played. But that was like I was mostly into console games, and I didn't do online stuff up until about 4 or 5 years
Oh,
ago.
really?
I started getting more into it and doing because I was more into it for the streaming
Yeah.
aspect. I wanted to play games that I liked, but I wanted to show people what I was doing, and now I've got it all rigged up where I can play any of my retro console games online. Like I just hooked up my GameCube, and I just hooked up a Dreamcast that I got about 4 or 5 years ago that I'd never even tested
Oh,
out.
nice.
So I didn't have any games for it. So I bought a game at the game store about a week ago, and I was like, I'm gonna go try my Dreamcast and see if it works,
Yeah.
because I had but I've got it all rigged up to my PC with a capture card so I can stream it online. And I've got like dozens of PS3 games and PS2. Whoa, what was that? Notification. But yeah, like the whole online thing, I didn't really get into, and it wasn't until I started doing like the Jackbox party games with my friends and other things like that. But I hadn't seen, but I had heard about the level of toxicity that is online. But it made me more interested when you mentioned that, and I was like, I need to go look more into
So
this,
I have,
because I think it's important to get out there because I do know that all the streamers that are streaming, because there's a lot, and they're not just streaming games. Like Twitch has like a million different categories of things you can stream
yeah.
online. There's people just sitting there smoking weed
Yeah, that's it.
and
That's
like
it. This is all they're doing.
talking, or doing a just chatting or
So
whatever.
I've
Um,
actually just to give you some background, I've been playing video games online since Dreamcast. Dreamcast was my very first online video game. There was a game on Dreamcast called Fantasy Star Online PSO. It still exists, still going, still strong. You can play it on PC. I actually recently was playing PSO on PC. When I jumped back in, I started playing again. It is way different now. Still fun, just way different. But I used to love this Fantasy Star Online. I loved it. I used to play it on Dreamcast. That was my first online game. And then I played. I feel like I remember Halo being a huge thing for like LAN gaming, where if all you had to do is just bring your laptop. Somebody would bring like a hub, not your laptop, excuse me. Bring your Xbox. Somebody would bring a hub. Then you connect your Xbox to the hub, and then they would connect their Xbox to the hub, and then everybody would connect their Xbox to the hub. You also have to have your own TV. By the way, you cannot do this with with one television, and everybody would have their own TV, and we'd all just be in the same room on different Xboxes on our own little
yeah.
tiny televisions playing Halo versus one another. I remember when Halo 2 dropped and we could play Xbox Live online with Halo 2 and playing against each other online. I remember that's when I first fully just immersed myself in the world of online play. And then from Halo 2 until 2012, so I'm not sure how many years that is. It feels like maybe 6, 7 years. I played almost every game exclusively online that came out for Xbox Live. So Call of Duty, all the Call of Duties, I was there for Modern Warfare 2. I was there for Call of Duty Black, the very first one when we did Black Ops. I was there for. I've pretty much dropped Call of Duty like Call of Duty 4, but I was there for like a lot of the Splinter Cells. And when Splinter Cell went online, you could do have the co-op games, which I was a huge fan of the co-op games online. But I feel like they didn't do enough of them. And as a side note, I will say this: I love most co-op games in most shooters. So like if there's a shooter where it's like, hey, you can go through a storyline, I love that. I still enjoy those. If there's a shooter where it's like, hey, you can go through a storyline with a friend, the friend's there to help shoot stuff, and you can have fun doing that. I'm here for that. It's when it's like, hey, we cleared all the story out. It's you and 15 other people with guns. Shoot each other, go, 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 kill, kill, kill. That's when I'm like, I don't want them to do this anymore. And like, I will admit, there are moments that are really fun within that I enjoy. So like, I really enjoy the moments that come from, that it's not the same when you play against like a computer, because the computer does a lot of the same thing. And
Yeah.
there's patterns, you can pick those out and then just take advantage. Human beings don't do that. They're different. They're random. They're also trying to take
Right.
advantage. And so like, it just becomes really fun to try to like figure out how to be another human, and fun experiences come from that. But I will also say that a lot of really negative experiences come from that as well. And then once you add the component of communication, both internal communication between teams and team play, but then also communication, um, I guess cross team communication, where like you can, even if it's not like me saying something, because Halo is infamous about like you could hear, if you were near somebody, you could hear them talking, so where you could talk trash to somebody while they were dead. But teabagging and all of the things that you can do to try to like make it so that your character is like making fun of or dancing on someone's grave. I feel like all of those things,
Yeah.
I get the celebration aspect of it to the extent of like, haha, I won, but I don't understand the need to humiliate someone in that celebration. And I think that is
Yeah.
part of the problem. The need to be fully competitive, to beat someone, to defeat somebody. I feel like that part of it, for most of us, it seems like we buy into that really strongly, to where it's almost as if we when we lose, we feel it super strongly and we quit and we rage and we're angry. But then when we win, it's
Yeah.
almost like it's not good enough, so we have to like make it worse for the person who lost, because the win is not as doesn't feel as good as the loss is hurt.
Hmm. I think another aspect of like if you stream games, something I've seen people make memes out of like little clips from people's streams,
Yeah,
so they're like, so like even if somebody is like, let's say somebody is ridiculing you in a chat or something, like it's all captured online. So like it's almost like, I would imagine, like for me, if I want to communicate with someone who's playing a game, if I'm watching, I like to play, I like to watch people play video games if I'm like sitting in the room, and every once in a while I'll pop on Twitch and watch somebody playing a game that I like, but for the most part I don't like
yeah,
watching. I like to just play a game, and if and it's difficult enough for me to play a game, let alone just sit there and watch someone else play it. But if I'm playing something and I want to learn how to play it and I watch somebody else play it, I can kind of get some ideas. But I'm not going to jump in the chat and start like ridiculing them for doing whatever, but like I also feel like I know that it's like I don't want to, and also it's recorded. So like it's captured forever. So like why would anybody, if you're going to be online streaming, like start doing creepy shit, especially if it's like, if there's a woman streamer or a girl gamer doing something and you can see her, like it start being creepy and saying crazy shit,
yeah,
like, and I think that's another thing why a lot of people, streamers in particular, have started becoming those like VTubers. I don't know if you've seen those. Like it's like they use, instead of them being online in a webcam, they use like an animated anime
yeah,
avatar that's like usually drawn by a particular artist, and it's like it reacts with them as they move on camera. So the camera's looking at them, and when they do things or dance around, like the little avatar thing moves around. So it's like maybe people are starting to do that to kind of get away from, to be even more anonymous, like so that they
I think to
are not just out
I think
there,
to some
like,
extent some
you
of that
know.
too is driven by like with the rise of doxing and swatting and the danger that comes from that, and how just how easy it is for someone to take, I think what's happening is too is like we can now image search for people's faces, we can search for things in the background of people's houses, we can get very very
Oh
high
yeah.
resolution quality pictures off of a stream because of how high resolution quality our cameras are, and find something
Yep.
and potentially wreak havoc on someone's life, all because they were just playing a video game online. And so I think because of that, people are starting to get a little bit more leery. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I will say this about all of this towards video gaming. I think the healthy thing that I'm trying to do here, and I hope I do it, because I'm not quitting all video games and saying, well, never again. I think what I'm trying to do is just
Right.
find a path where I have a specific need met. And for me personally, the thing I enjoy the
Yeah.
most about video games, and the thing that is most entertaining for me, is being able to participate in interactive story. and is in what video games have done really well, especially over the last decade or so, is have done really well at taking a lot of the elements of like cinematic elements from a movie. So like the storylines, the plot, the camera elements, the evoking of emotion. A lot of that they've pulled from movies and cinema, and they've done a really good job of making it so that you can walk your way through and interact and kind of craft or build a story that's it's already for example is there, but as you're playing, you're kind of building a new part of it and experiencing part of that story through the eyes of the main character, or if in the case of some video games, through your own eyes. And I think that in itself is the greatest value for me, and so I will always enjoy that, and so I'll always play games for that reason. I think I'm just done with online gaming and or competitive type style games in general. And we'll see how hard I hold off on that, because there's a Star Wars first person shooter coming out, and I really really want it. But at the same time, like, I also will probably end up getting it, but then kind of playing a long line a bit, but then being a little burned out on it. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a like I love video games, but I kind of hesitate to call myself a gamer because I physically don't play them enough. Like I did a 24-hour stream last November,
Uh-huh.
um, and played a bunch of games I hadn't played yet, and I had a lot of fun, and it was great. And I streamed the whole time. All right, I did two separate 12-hour streams, but it seems like I burned myself out for the rest of the year. Like in that 12-hour stints of just sitting there for 12 hours straight playing a whole batch of games I hadn't played before. And I'm like, oh, this game's cool. I'll play it for like 2 or 3 hours. And then I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to switch it up. I'm getting kind of burnt out now. And then, like, for the whole year comes around, like, I may download a few games, or I may like get a few free ones,
Yeah.
or I may pick up some retro stuff from the retro game store here in town, just for my collections. It's like I'm more of a collector than I'm like, uh, well, technically, I'm a hoarder
Yeah.
because I have way too much shit. But I love video games. I love the classic ones, and I love like learning about them and seeing what's out and what's coming out. And I love trying stuff, but I just really suck at them, I think. And so when I try to play them, I get discouraged pretty quick. And plus, having going back to the mental health thing, having had so many issues in my life over the past like 8 or 10 years, like I didn't want to get into playing a game because I wasn't interested in solving puzzles, or my brain capacity was like maxed out with just like going to work and doing my job. And then I got home and I was super stressed out, and so I would drink. And I'm like, the, it's very difficult for me to drink and play a video game, like, because I get dizzy as shit when I'm watching,
Yeah.
depending on what game it is. I'm like, holy shit, I can't look at this, and I stop
It's
it.
just too much. Yeah.
So I
It's a
I
lot
was
of
like,
sensory like overload with video games.
yeah, yeah. And so, like, when I had all that mental stuff going on, I didn't get into it. But then a couple years ago, Rob was like, you got to get into streaming, you got to try this game. And he slowly worked me into playing. I tried Apex Legends.
Uh-huh.
The first time I tried it, I like almost had like a panic attack because I was like, I dropped in somewhere, and then people started shooting at me, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? I can't see anything. And I ran into a wall, and then I'm like looking at my feet the whole time, and I can't get the controls right. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I
Yeah.
died. But I heard all these gunshots, and I'm like, this is like PTSD, man. I'm like, I'm freaking out because there's like people shooting at me, and it's like,
Yeah, it's a
it's
lot.
like I'm having flashbacks, like
Yeah.
I'm like, holy fuck, man. And I got headphones on so you can hear all this shit like really
And it's
loud. And
like
I'm like,
all around
fuck,
you, and you're
man.
immersed in it completely. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird. It's weird.
totally immersed
I
into
think
it. But it took me a while, and I eventually kind of got used to it. I still can't, I really suck at Apex, but we've tried a few other games, like a Monster Hunter game kind of
uh
thing. And that was kind of fun. And I'm working my way up, but I love my retro games. I'm getting ready to
Can
start
I
playing
can
some
I make a suggestion
Beautiful
for you for
Joe.
Dreamcast if you can find it? It's like my favorite Dreamcast game of all time. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've ever heard of it before, but there's a Dreamcast game. It's called Shinmu. Have you ever heard of Shinmu before?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Have you ever played it?
They also it was out for
PlayStation for a bit.
the
Yep.
PlayStation.
Have you ever played
Yeah.
Shinmu?
Uh,
I
I don't remember if I ever tried it,
I
but I knew I
played
wanted
one.
to.
So I played Shenmue one. Shenmue and Shenmue one
There's
is
one and two,
yeah.
right?
Two was exclusively on PlayStation 2, I want to say, but I never got a chance to play it, unfortunately. And also, it was supposed to be a 3-part series, so two ends on a cliffhanger. So does one, but at least there's a two to play. With two ending on a cliffhanger, there is no three, and so it's just like, well, guess you'll never figure it out. But it is the coolest story. And I won't spoil it for you, but I will tell you what it's about.
That's what I
It's
heard.
so it's about this, and this is almost literally like the trailer for it. So there's a kid. His father owns a dojo, and he's an important master in martial arts. And as I think he's like maybe 15 or 16 as a kid when this first happens, his father is murdered. Someone murders his father, and you are the kid. You're playing his son, trying to investigate his murder. And to investigate it, you are living in real time. Well, not real time, but in an actual world, like where you wake up in the morning, you have to like eat, you have to like take care of a puppy and feed a puppy. You have to do chores, like go to the store and buy things. And you're going through town, taking care of like actual chores you have to do, and also like talking to people in town to ask them what they know about your father's murder. And as you talk to them about things that are happening and the incidents that are happening, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw a car come speeding through there. It was a guy with like a red hat. He talked to Joe." And then you go talk to Joe, and it's like, "Yeah, I had a blah 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 fight with this person because blah blah blah. It was about Cassie's blah." And you go talk to Cassie, and it's just you're just doing that all over this one town, somewhere in Japan, until like you finally figure out like who the bad guys are, and you're like trying to run them down, and it is so much fun. There's also like this whole thing like system where like you have to learn martial arts moves because you fight like bad guys as you get through different spots in detective work, and it is like it's oh my god. And so you can go into like empty parking lots in the middle of the night and practice your martial arts. And so like you get better from practicing, where if you go into and practice doing certain moves by yourself in the middle of a parking lot at night, you get stronger and better, and so eventually you become like an unstoppable martial arts master. It is so much fun. You need to find this game and play it. It is super expensive, I bet, because it's crazy rare. It's 2 discs, no, 3 discs, excuse me. It's a 3 disc game. Uh, but it's fantastic. It's for Dreamcast. It's one of my favorite games ever for Dreamcast. I have it somewhere in Alabama. It is somewhere in Alabama. Again, 100% one of my favorite games.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing it when it was out for the. I had a friend that had a when I was in the Marines. One of my friends bought a
Uh
Dreamcast,
huh.
and we used to play one of the Worms games where you
Yeah,
like blow
Worms
each
3
other up and
Armageddon.
stuff. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
Worms Armageddon's
So
a
we used
great
to sit
game.
around, and that was one game I could play while I was
Yeah.
drinking. Like we just like, but that was hilarious. I had the first PlayStation. I went from the Sega CD to the
The Dreamcast.
PS1 when it first
Oh,
came
okay.
out, and then I didn't play anything else, and I didn't even really play the PS1 very much until the PS2 came out. Then I got one of those, and then still yet again I didn't play very many games. I skipped over like the GameCube and
Yeah.
I had a friend that had an N64, so I played that a little bit. But like during that time frame, like in the late '90s, like I was like barely into gaming. I was like kind of hanging on, and I still had my old game collections and stuff. But it wasn't until like the late 2000 or the late 2000, wasn't until
Yeah.
2099 I decided to go back and search. The earth was in rubble, but we found all the retro video game systems.
PlayStation 50, Xbox
And
50,000. No. Um
we brought them back to Mars with
I
us.
I actually, so I did this weird thing where I was a 64. That was my very first console. I didn't have anything before that. I played other games at friends' houses. You see a friend with a Sega or a Nintendo, but my very first was a 64, and then my next one was a Dreamcast, and it was because my friend had a Dreamcast and did not like it. Excuse me, and sold me a Dreamcast for, I want to say, like 25 or $50. And then I
Oh wow.
found, yeah, super cheap price. And then I found all these different Dreamcast games that I was in love with, like Shenmue. Also, I think it's Space Channel 5, where like it's a rhythm dancing game, which is super fun. Choo
Yeah.
Choo Rocket.
Yeah, I was reading up on some of them recently.
Yeah.
That and it all rings a bell. And I was like, and I'm also following retro games on
Uh huh.
Twitter that tag, and so like I see all kinds of stuff, and so like people are posting about it.
Oh, there's
Um,
so many
the
great
thing
games
I'm
on
confused
Dreamcast,
about
actually.
is you said Shenmue, and I'm questioning the pronunciation
I'm probably saying it wrong.
because I watch so much. I watch so much anime, and I want to say whenever I see an e at the end of something, it's Shenmue or Mue.
It might be.
No, not e. E's aren't
So you
pronounced e.
never,
It's
I don't
pronounced
think they
a.
ever say the title aloud in the game, though. I'm almost certain they never say like "Welcome to Shinmu," so I don't think they say. It might be Shimue or Shimue. I'm not sure because I've never heard it said or
Well,
pronounced. But I can tell you that it is a fantastic game, and you should 100% find it.
it
Also,
does look awesome.
there was one other game for Dreamcast that's really good. So we mentioned Choo Choo Rocket. We talked about Space Channel 5. What was the other game? I like that I'm blanking on everything tonight. It's been a long day. I started at 4:40, so I am exhausted. There's one other. Oh, Crazy Taxi's the other game that's fun. But I feel like you can play that on anything. You said you played Worms Armageddon, which is super awesome. A lot of fun on. Actually, maybe, yeah. I think Worms Armageddon does it. But yeah, Dreamcast
They've
is.
got a Shenmue 3 on PS4.
Don't you believe it? If it is, it's not.
I'm
If
looking
it
on
is,
eBay.
it's not English. I guarantee you that's completely Japanese.
Oh,
If there's not an English one, if there is, I missed it. But I don't think there is an English one.
I gotta look Dreamcast so I can get the original.
Oh, that original's so good. I mean, like, so good. I can't even.
It's all imports. It looks like that I can only get, and if it's not, then
Like, there's vending machines
uh,
where you go and you just like pump it, like, and it's there's like it's just it's just so good. It's probably one of the first games I think I've played. And most people, when I tell them about it and talk about the game, because like, oh, I'm just walking around the city, going to different vending machines, trying to collect all the toys, and like, you get a job, you legit just get a job, and you're just working in a warehouse. That's all. You're just working in a warehouse, trying to like find answers, but also keep your job so you can find answers. It's one of the best dichotomies of all time. Is I gotta do this, like, all these tasks because of my job, and I have to do it within like 10 to 15 minutes because of my job, but also I need to talk to this person because my dad died. It's like it's there's it's just it's such a fun little dichotomy of like, I got to keep this job, but I also got to find out who murdered my father. I got to do both. it's it's a lot of fun. I cannot stress.
but yeah, that sounds like that's like my kind of game.
Yeah,
Like that's yeah, that's up my alley because like the games that I remember playing that I did really get into were kind of like that. Like there was like just a lot of shit to do, and it wasn't like what you were saying earlier. Like you stop playing for a week or two, and then when you try to go back in, you're like, Where the fuck am I? Like, how did I get here? How do I get out of here? Like, what? There's a door and it's locked, and how did it looks I think I remember coming through this door, but why I can't I go back out it? Like, and you're just like stuck. Like you're like, and then if you go further, you end up just dying because you're like didn't do something from the previous point,
Resident
and you're
Evil
like,
was like
man,
that for
like,
me because of the force. Like, I don't know
ah,
if you played any of the Resident Evil games on PlayStation 1, But do you remember?
Yeah, I did.
Because essentially, like you could play through and save with enough if you had enough ribbon, of course. But there was also like you had to have ribbon to save. But then there was also like the playthroughs where if you didn't save, you got more points for not saving. So
Oh,
then I remember you would go through and you do all the saves, like, oh god, oh god, oh god, and just use all your ribbon all the time. And then you would do the playthrough of like, all right, I don't need the ribbon. I know it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna save. I'm just gonna go through. And those were the most frustrating ones for me as well. Because you were incentivized to not save, but honestly, you should have saved. You should save. You should
yeah.
save. I think you should be
Save
allowed to
game.
save a game. And I loved. I think Dead Space was one of the first games I played where they just automatically just save for you as checkpoints. But it's a horror game, so to kind of keep you in
Oh,
the mood of the horror, they tried to make sure the checkpoints all had like a cinematic or it was like you were doing something to get the save. So you had to like you were supposed to click a switch. Once you got to that switch and you clicked it, then that was your save point until you got to the next task.
yeah.
And so I really like that about it, though I will say it's frustrating for me when I play horror games or games like Dead Space, where it's like a horde of enemies that if I trigger one and all of them come after me and they attack me, I have to go back to this one task. I would prefer like because there's times like I remember playing Splinter Cell where because Splinter Cell is really bad about doing this. You could save at any point you wanted to at Splinter Cell. I don't know if you remember this. So I would like sneak up behind someone, knock a dude out, save, and then just every time I knock someone out or just save. Like no, I'm not doing this again. It was hard. It was really difficult to get behind him and knock him out without him catching me. So I'm just saving everything. And I mean, like, if you could see
It
the
seems like something I would
if
do.
you could see the
Yeah.
save log, it would probably just be like 50 saves every in 5 minutes. Because every time I like knock someone out, I'm like save, and then I was like, oh, walk across here, and I'm behind this guy, save, and then knock him out, then save, then I'm behind this guy, then knock him out. And it was just me doing that the entire time. It's it's not something I'm super proud to admit, but yeah, I'm not a. If you give me the option
My
to save, I will save every 2 minutes.
my PS4's hard drive a couple years ago, um, or like a year and a half ago, the hard drive
Oh
failed.
wow,
And before that, I was playing a game called Senran Kagura Estival Versus, and it's like an anime style like ninja girl with like big breasts, like fighting game that you go through all these different levels. You have to perform certain moves, you have to do all kinds of kind of fun, redundant, repetitive stuff, but like I don't know, we were talking earlier about how you can change like your avatar in certain games, but you couldn't be who you really wanted to be then.
yeah,
You just had to be a white guy or a girl. When I first started playing games where you could choose who you wanted or what character you wanted to be, even in fighting games, like I always picked the girl characters, and I used to tell all my friends like that, and they were like, "Oh man, you're gay," or whatever. And that's kind of like thinking back, that's like early, like that's
yeah.
misogyny and
It's mad
toxicity and
toxic, of
all kinds
course.
of stuff,
Yeah,
and it's like, you kind of brush it off back then, but like now it's like I always loved playing, like when I played Tony Hawk, like uh whenever I played a Tony Hawk game, I could make my own skater, and I made it this really badass girl skater,
yeah.
and I'm like, when I played fighting games, I always picked like Chun-Li or one of the various like different other fighting games had all the female characters, and I'm like, I love being the female characters, and it's just that was my thing. Like snowboarding game, like I played one on the PS1. I played a
Oh,
snowboarding
was it
game,
tricky?
and I loved playing as the girl skateboard, the snowboarder, because she made the funniest sound when she
Yeah,
fell,
was it? Are we
and I
talking
was
about?
like,
Was it? Was this? Is this tricky? We're talking about? Uh,
the snowboarding
yeah.
game. No, it's like Cool
Oh,
Borders
okay.
or
I thought you were talking
something.
about. I think it's XXW tricky, or a skateboarding or snowboarding game that is one of my favorite that I think is PlayStation. I'm sorry for interrupting. I really do love it. It's a great. I'm actually trying to look it up now because I love this game and I remember having a lot of fun playing it as a kid. Uh,
But yeah, like every game I remember playing, like for
SSX
some
tricky.
reason
That's
I
the
was
name of it.
always
Sorry.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
I think I
that was
remember that
PlayStation
one,
2.
but I don't think I played that one.
Oh, that one was fun. That one was a lot of fun. That was one of my favorites of that genre. I think that was probably the time when I was like, oh, this is my favorite snowboarding game. Yeah.
I was playing my friend when I told you he got an N64. This is when I lived in the barracks in the Marines, and um it was weird for being a Marine and being having like your own room. Like that was unheard of in the Marine Corps when I was in, because all the other Marines that got stationed different bases, I lucked out and got stationed in Fort Worth, Texas, which used to be an old Air Force base, and the Air Force has always gotten their own
Yeah.
rooms and own kitchenettes, and it's the chair force, so they get everything. The Marines, they get like 10 guys shoved into one room with like 10 bunks stacked up to the ceiling, and you get like a fridge in the corner and maybe a TV, if you're
Yeah.
lucky. But like I was one of the I was privileged Marine, and I had my own room, and me and my friends, I would go next door to my friend's room, and he had an N64, and he got that game 1080,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it was a snowboard game,
1080's fun.
and I would sit there playing the shit out of that, and I would get drunk as hell, and I would be sitting there playing, and I looked over at my friend, and he was playing with the controller, and it has like it has that the N64 has that like bear claw kind of controller look to it, where it's like, well, he's got one fit thumb on the control pad part, the little X, the little
The
or the
cross.
cross
Yeah.
that has up down, and then in the middle has the little controller that you can use with your thumb that spins all the way
Yep. The
around,
little
and
joystick.
you
Yeah.
know joystick, yeah. So he's trying to play this game, and he has his fingers, one one thumb on the control and the other thumb on the on the joystick. So he's not going anywhere or doing anything because he's just
Yeah.
like counter. You're only supposed to use one of those, and I was just sitting there watching him for like 5 minutes, just trying to control a character, like play this game, and he's so drunk. He like he's and it was hilarious. But I'm like, but yeah, I took the controller, I started playing 1080, and I used to go in his room all the time and play that, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And we played GoldenEye
GoldenEye
too.
was
We
a
played
fun
a
one.
lot
I
of
used
that.
to for N64. I really loved my very first game I played on N64 that I actually got with the came with the game was Pod Racer. So I have a history of Star Wars video games. If you can't tell, I have played. You know what? It just hit me what the other. It was a Star Wars game. There is the Phantom Menace is on Dreamcast. Hold on a minute. Phantom Menace Dreamcast. I think it is just. I wonder if it is just called. It's Star Wars Jedi Power Battles is what I'm thinking of. If you can find that, that is hella fun. It's the one Star Wars game that actually has Mace Windu on it, and he's really good at that game. He's really really fun and really good. Qui-Gon is also on it. So is Obi-Wan. I think it might just be those three, but oh no, Plo Koon is the fourth. But it's fantastic. I love it, and it is I wasted it's extremely difficult, by the way, and I wasted so much time playing it.
What was it called?
It's Star Wars Jedi Power Battles, and it's
Hmm.
set during Episode 1. So it's Star Wars Episode 1 colon Jedi Power Battles.
Well, there's one about 360 miles away from me. 395 shipping, but it's $150. But it is brand new, factory sealed
It's
for the Dreamcast.
I tell
Man,
you, it is.
that's what I hate about being a game collector, is like I most of the time don't actually buy any games because they're way too damn expensive
Yeah,
to find the ones that I want.
and then play them. It is.
I got robbed once too,
Oh no.
and I had a bunch of PS2 games that were stolen. I've replaced some of them, but like I had a lot of good ones too. Like when Final Fantasy VII first came out,
Uh huh.
so that was gone. I don't know if that's worth anything, but it's just like
It
I
probably
remember it
is.
being a fun game because it first came out and it was the first PlayStation version of a Final Fantasy game um, back then.
It might be. I feel like it might be worth
Man,
something at this point, but I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell with video games because, like, while they are like super popular, they're also super popular. So like it's yeah, maybe someone will want it for a high price, but it's also they make so many video games in a specific run that it's not like the market isn't flooded. So it's hard to
Right.
tell. It's really hard to tell.
Well, the guy that the next town over, um, there's a place called Rockin' Sports Entertainment, and it's
Mhm.
like he sells everything that's collectible kind of thing. It's mostly video games, but he also has like DVDs and Blu-rays and CDs and records, lots of vinyl, and he has baseball cards and just all kinds of stuff. But he mainly deals in like video game, like retro video game stuff, and it's really cool. And and the guy I know the owner, so he's really cool too. And like that's why I asked him. I was like, "Hey, do you have a cheap Dreamcast game I can get so I can test out my Dreamcast?" And he's like, "We don't have very many of them. We've probably got about 25 of them." But I went in and I was like, "Okay, I'll get one." But he's got like tons of NES games and SNES
There's
and
also like
pretty much everything you can imagine.
there's also some really fun
But it's
Sonic games for Dreamcast too, by the way. The Sonic games for Dreamcast are also very fun. That's when they went 3D, and it's a little weird, but it's fun to play. There's a lot of fun
I
Dreamcast
heard that
games. There's
too.
a lot of fun Dreamcast games. It's slept on, and I get like when I made the jump to Dreamcast, other people were going GameCube. I do not regret the jump to Dreamcast. I had so much more fun on Dreamcast with the games that I played. Don't get me wrong. I wish I guess in retrospect, GameCube did also have Smash Brothers Brawl, which would have been or Melee, excuse me, not Brawl, but it may have been Melee and Brawl,
Right.
but it would have been cool to have that. But still 100% prefer the Dreamcast games because again, we're talking Shenmue, we're talking, which I guess may not be that big a deal to some people, but huge deal to me. Space Channel 5. We're talking Jedi Power Battles. We're talking, which I loved, which I cannot stress enough how much I enjoy that game. But again, grain of salt because I'm a Star Wars video gamer. I love Star Wars video games. Hard for me to resist. Very hard for me to resist. But also like Choo Choo Rocket was an amazing game. Fantasy Star
I've
Online.
heard of that one.
Choo Choo Rocket is the one where it's really simple. The choo choos are like little mice that you're just trying to direct. So they come on screen and you put on like
Yeah.
little arrows to direct them away from traps and through cheese and to home. And as you're just changing arrows from place to place, and there's like another character, like another
Oh,
player playing against you, also changing arrows. Super fun, super fun.
that looks
And
cool.
then let's see. I feel like Jet Grind Radio was also Dreamcast, right?
Yeah. The people on Twitter that were telling me recently about games for
Yep.
Dreamcast, I think they
Jet Grind
were
Radio was
that
Dreamcast.
what is it called?
Jet Set Radio, excuse me.
Jet Set. Oh yeah. Uh,
And it's fun.
yeah, they mentioned that one.
I guess Crazy Taxi
Um,
technically though, you can play that on your phone.
yeah, I was looking. I have played that. I think I don't remember if I had that for a different system.
I mean, I think it was out on every system. They really tried to capitalize on it. And like, again, I have Crazy Taxi on my phone right now. It's you can 100 like I play it on long airplane rides. It's you can 100% play that right now.
Well, I hooked up. Oh, when I was also at the game store, I picked up another. Going back to your story, well, I guess it's been a kind of a theme for this episode is the Godzilla. You were Black Godzilla, and I told you I like the Godzilla roll for the sushi roll. My I'm also a huge Godzilla fan. Like back, I grew up watching the movies. My son now, who is 16, he knows more about Godzilla movies, the old original movies, than anybody else that I
Oh,
know.
that's
Like
awesome.
he researches this stuff, and he knows. I got him like a Time magazine or a thick book Godzilla, stories about the filmmaking and all that. He knows what studios in Japan filmed which era of films. Like there's the Toho and then there's the other ones and he knows the difference. Well, I've also been playing or I got a few of the Godzilla video games which they're not that
Yeah,
great. They're kind of like fighting games.
understandably.
Um but me and him sit and play it and have a really good time. And there was one that I didn't have, and it was for the GameCube. And I saw that when I was at the game store the other day, and I'm like, oh, well, here's another Godzilla game because I have two or three of them for PS2. I think it was two of them for PS2, and one of them for another system, maybe SNES or something. But I didn't have the GameCube one, so I got that one, and me and him are getting ready to play it like next weekend or whenever he comes back for the weekend. And they might be going out of town this weekend, but I was like, I sent him a picture of it, and I was like, hey, look, another Godzilla game. And then I sent him a picture of the Godzilla PS4 game
Uh-huh.
that the retro game store also had, which is rare and is like $200. And I was like, I did not get this one, buddy. Sorry. It is way too
When
expensive.
you get a chance, I would like you to ask your son how he feels about the Godzilla cartoon. So there was a cartoon with Godzilla. I don't know if you remember this, but it was
Yeah.
Godzilla, and you had a little tiny Godzilla called Godzuki. Yeah,
Godzuki. Yep.
It's Godzilla and Godzuki, Godzilla.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know how someone who is a connoisseur of Godzilla, where does the cartoon fall? Is it? I mean, it's not canon technically. No one wants Godzuki to be
Right.
real, but
Well, yeah, because it's like
it's like a spinoff, an
it's
offshoot.
a
It's like
yeah.
Star Trek, but like Star Trek, the cartoon is considered canon. Did you know that? So I was
Uh,
gonna say it was similar to Star Trek the cartoon because it's from the same
hmm.
era where they were like, "Hey, here's a thing adults like.
Are
Let's
they the
make
same animators? Because it looks
the Star
similar.
Trek."
It's kind of like that Hanna
Yeah, that same little
Barbera
era.
Warner
Yeah,
Brothers
I
like
think it was just.
Sea Lab
I bet.
Space Ghost
So
kind of thing.
I could be wrong about this, but I actually I think I might be right. So I think there was only like maybe like a certain handful of animation studios that did animation for a cheap price, and so a lot of people worked with those animation studios for that price. And I'm pretty sure like it was they probably produced like almost all of the Hanna Barbera cartoons because like I mean from that era because like it looks like to your
Yeah.
point like it looks like what was it Thundar the Barbarian which looks like the
Right.
Herculoids,
Thunder.
which looks like Godzilla,
Yep.
which all of them look alike. They all look the same, and I think it might have just been that one studio was probably the cheapest at because at the time it was really about selling toys, right? So it's like we got a bunch of toys, got to sell these toys. Let's make a cartoon to go with it, and they just find a studio who could put together a cartoon. But I am curious. I would like
It's
to know
gotta
what your
be.
son's thought
Oh
is
yeah, Hanna Barbera. That's it. It
is
is.
Hanna
It was
Barbera. Yeah, it's
produced
Hanna
by
Barbera.
them.
I would like to know what your son's thoughts are on Godzilla. Just out of curiosity, when you get a chance to ask, just be like, "Hey,
It's like Johnny Quest.
yeah, Johnny Quest. They
Godzilla
all look
Johnny
alike.
Quest.
It's all the same stuff. It's oh my
Yep.
god! And I will say this: out of all of them, I love the Herculoids. Fantastic. Could watch it all day, every day.
Yep.
Only so about Thundar the Barbarian. I mean, it was fun, but it was also weird. I never knew
Yeah.
what was going on with that like Chewbacca dude. Like they had a rip off Chewbacca, but he wasn't Chewie, and I didn't like
I
it.
know.
I wasn't into that. And also like there wasn't like a slacker. Like Star Wars had a slacker. Han was a slacker. He was like, "Hey man, I'm just trying to get by." He
Yeah.
was like Matthew McConaughey but in space. And Thundar the Barbarian didn't have that. They had a princess, a woman who was a princess with powers and could fight. They had a walking carpet who growled and didn't really say things. And then they had a dude with a sword, but they didn't have a slacker. They were there. They were so
Hmm.
close. A dude with a light sword and a slacker was all they needed, and I would have loved that show.
Like they could have just like edited it. Like maybe I should do this in the future. I'll take that. The what was it? Was
It
it
was Thundar the
Thundar
Barbarian.
or Thundar the Barbarian? And I'll copy and paste. I'll cut in Speed Buggy
Okay,
in there
that's what you need.
as
Yeah, Speed Buggy's
and
the
then
slacker
be
that
like,
that show needs. It's like Speed
Speed
Buggy, we got to
Buggy.
run for our cover, and Speed's just like, I don't run anymore, and that'd be perfect. That'd be perfect. I would just a very sarcastic, just bitter, angry Speed Buggy where he's just constantly like he's like Speed Buggy, quick, take cover, and Speed Buggy's like fuck you, and I would just love that. It'd be so much fun to see bitter, angry Speed Buggy, and everyone else is like, oh no, urgent danger, and Speed Buggy's like, I don't care, I don't care. Like I've been around since the '60s. I'm a jalopy. I can be fixed by a mechanic. I don't care if they shoot me. My body
They
work is
never
so
changed
cheap.
my oil.
I would have so. I feel like that would be so much fun. I would enjoy that so much.
That's that. That's why I love those shows. Like you've seen like C Lab,
Yeah, I love C
like
Lab. Yeah.
when they get on a Cartoon
Or
Network.
what's the other one? Is it Birdman? And there's also a spin-off of Birdman where it's his daughter who's
Oh yeah,
which is also
like
really fun. It's Burt Girl, attorney at law, which is also a lot of fun as well.
oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah. I love those shows. I like I think Space Ghost was another one that did that same. They took that style and kind of like spun it into something
yeah.
a little bit different.
And well, they like turned it into like a late night
Yeah,
show, and they
yeah,
made it to where he's like doing the whole coast to coast thing, and he's always like putting his hand up and zapping
yeah.
Brack or
Still one of my favorite theme songs. It's a fun theme song. I would watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast right now. Actually, like if I still
it's
really
hilarious,
love
man.
that and the fact that it really feels like none of the guests know that they're on a television show. None of them know that they're being. It's so great.
They actually had Joel from Mystery Science Theater
What?
3000 was on there
Wow.
once. Yeah, like they had him on there, and they're like, "So who are you?" Like he was just like, "Well, I do this show with my robot friends, and we make fun of old movies, and it's just." And then I think Mark Hamill was on
I
there
remember the Mark
once,
Hamill one,
like just
because there's a lot of Star
very like
talk and Star Trek and Star Wars talk. And then
yeah.
I also remember I feel like Leonard Nimoy might have been on once, or there was a Star Trek character on. I can't remember who it was. I feel like it was Leonard
Oh man,
Nimoy. This makes me want to go back and watch it. It's on. If you don't know this, I feel like it's on HBO Max. And
I don't have that.
well, if you have HBO Max, I do. Me and my wife have it, and I believe it's on HBO Max, so you can go back and watch all of the episodes because I feel like all of Cartoon Network's Adult Swim episodes for pretty much everything are there.
I have the Cartoon Network app on my Roku, and it has some stuff. It has like all of like Rick and Morty that you can
Mm-hmm.
watch in order or like a random or and it has like Aqua Teen Hunger
I love
Force,
Aqua Teen Hunger Force, also a favorite.
which is another good one.
So to answer the question, HBO Max does have all of Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Apparently, I have already started watching it because I'm on episode 5. Um, and yeah, it's got wow. There were only 3 seasons. Nope, I'm sorry. There's 9. Holy crap! There were 9 seasons of this show. Jesus. So yeah, 9
Yeah,
seasons.
there's a lot.
That's wild.
I'm one of those people that like collects media as
Uh huh.
well. So like I have a Plex media server. If anybody's watching, if I ever release the video portions of this podcast, like this thing down here with this black door and this wall, that's a server, and it has a like 90 terabyte. Um, it's got like 15 hard drives in it, and it's just like loaded down with media, digital media, and so like I can access Plex anywhere I want. Uh, well, yeah,
With internet access.
anywhere that has internet
Yeah.
access with any kind of electronic device. I can access it on my phone, and it basically looks like Netflix on crack. Like it has information about the shows that it like all I got to do is put the file on there, and it will I can manually do it, or I can have it automatically search out online databases for information about whatever the file is I just put on there. And it will like tell you on the interface. Like I use it on my Roku all the time. Like I have a whole series of shows, and it will like tell you the information, all the actors in it, and you can like scroll on different information within the app, and it like just you can play trailers and music and whatever from that show that I don't have to download and put on the server.
Hmm.
It just associates that with the
Yeah.
information that's in the metadata that's from the file I put on there. And then you can actually just click play and start watching that show because that's what I
Oh, that's
put on the
super
server
useful.
initially. But like, yeah, I've used it on my laptop, and you can use it on like
So
iPads
like, can
or
other
or
people in
wherever.
your house also use it, like access it and use it? So like, and can people? I'm assuming since the server,
Oh
like,
yeah, you can make like user
yeah.
accounts
So
for everybody. Like all my family members have users accounts. There's
can they
about 20
add
different
things
friends
that
of
they like
mine.
to it? Like, can your family members be like, "Hey, I really love this episode of, I don't know,
Well,
uh, House Hunters." Is that a show? House Hunters? That's a show. I love House Hunters.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
show. Well, it just depends. I have to actually like
Oh,
technically
own.
own the
Correct.
media.
For the purposes of this
Um,
podcast, you not just technically, you own the media in a physical copy. You
yeah,
have
I
purchased.
own the
You've
media.
purchased the rights to watch the media
Yeah.
for entertainment
So
purposes.
I've had friends that have access to this, and they say like, "Hey, have you seen this movie or show?" And I'll be like, no, let me check it out, or let me look into that." And then the next day I'll be like, "Hey, have you looked on Plex lately?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, let me see what's on there." And they're like, "Oh, cool. You have a lot of good stuff. Thanks, man." And I'm like, "Yep."
Nice.
And it's just kind of you know,
That's super useful.
it's such a huge library that I have, and I posted on Instagram the other day that I organized all my anime DVDs that I have on a rack that's as tall as the wall out on my in my garage. Um, and there's stuff out there that I'm like, do I have that on my Plex server? Like, and I'm like
Really? How
wondering
do
if
you
it's on there, but
so how do you track? Is there a process? So like when you buy something new, does it automatically go to the Plex server? Do you watch it first and then decide if it's worth it? Like, so like, how do you figure out what's on the Plex server versus what's in real life? Because I feel like after a certain point it becomes like I mean, like, you can keep up with, I assume, all of it in your head, but it becomes difficult after a while where it's like, is that on, is it not? Do you have like an Excel spreadsheet, or do you just kind of like have to just search the Plex to decide? How do you figure out if it is actually on? Like, how do you know that you've put it on the Plex? Is there like a, do you update something? Does it give you like a little, like, here's a little?
well, there used to be an app.
Uh huh.
There was a program that I used that was like a collector kind of
Yeah.
thing, and you could keep track of collections that you own, like whether it's like comic books or DVDs or VHS tapes or video games or whatever, and you could just like log information into there. I kind of gotten away from that, and I don't really do it as much anymore, because I just acquire so much
Right.
media these days.
I was gonna say that the
um,
speed at which you have to kind of log everything seems like it'd be a little bit difficult. And almost, you
the
almost
the
want it
easiest
automated, where like it,
way.
it would be great if it would drop out. So here's what would be awesome, and like, if there were a CSV file that it dropped out of your full database of everything that you have, and then that just went to an app that read that and then just updated itself based upon that, and then you could just, in
Hmm.
that app, just be like, all right, so do I have this thing? Type it into the app is like, yep, you have it, it's right here in Plex. And as long as it had communication with Plex and could access that
Well,
CSV,
you
it would be able to do it.
that would be cool, and it does give me an idea. But most of the time, if someone asks me if I have a certain movie that's on Plex or something, I'll open up the Plex app in my
Uh-huh.
phone and just search for it.
Okay.
You just search for that name, title, or whatever. And even if it's a variation of a title, you can change it and be like, and if nothing comes up, then I don't have it. Or or if I'm questioning and I think I do and it's not giving me the actual info, then I'll just open up. I mean, it's basically, I mean, the Plex server is just a
Yeah,
computer, so
you can
I
just
can
open
open
up
up
the
the shared
file.
drive on my other computer. I open up the X drive, and I search for. I've got everything in categories as far as anime, audiobooks, games, movies, music, podcasts, TV shows, videos, various things. And I can just open up. Like if I open up anime, it's got anime numerical through alphabetical, like folders. It's
Yeah.
just like a file structure in Windows. So like if it starts with an A, I just look in the anime A folder, and there everything is. And I'm like, if I don't see that thing in there,
And it's
or I can go to X Drive's main directory and then just type in the
yeah. I was gonna say
search
I guess you
bar,
could control
for
F
whatever
for
it
it
is.
as well. That'll always find it. I guess yeah, because
Yeah.
files aren't like they used to
But
be.
but it would be cool though if I had something
Self
else that would
automated, yeah.
just, yeah,
Just if
yeah,
because automation's awesome. I'm a huge fan of it. I wish there were more of it in my life. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of stuff I can automate, but I'm trying to find every area I can automate and just immediately start automating it. That's what I want out of life. I want automation here, now, and forever.
automate.
Yeah, it's
You want one of those smart
oh my god,
homes,
if I could have a if I
like,
could I want a car to drive for me so badly. If do you imagine how much better life would be if you just got in your car and it just took you someplace? Obviously a place you wanted to go, not just like surprise me. Don't surprise me.
right?
I don't want to get in my car and it's just like, guess what? We're going to Alabama. I don't want that. But I would love for a car if I'm like going to work and I have that 30 minutes to drive instead of me being in 30 minutes of traffic or having to pay attention. I'm just sipping coffee, reading the paper, looking at my phone, just having the time of my life while my car deals with the actual like struggle and stress of driving. I want that, and we're
Yeah,
so close. We're so close, and I get like the skepticism. The thing that makes me feel worse about it is the reason we're skeptical is because the person who's doing the most with it right now is Elon Musk, and we should be skeptical of him. He's a very sketchy person, but he's on the right path.
yeah,
He's not the right man for the job, I think, in this case, but he's the only one
yeah.
doing it. And I'm just saying, like, I want my car to drive me
We
places.
need, yeah, we need more people that are doing some of the stuff that he's doing, but
Less
maybe have
sketchy.
like a different,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like not like basically ready to become Lex Luthor or something,
Right, right.
like,
People who don't have ambitions to rule the world with money should be doing some of the similar things that he does. But long story short, I really, really wish I could automate more parts of my life. There are just things I want to automate, and like
yeah,
I love scheduling. And one of the things that I really like about Google that's interesting to me is that if you buy like a ticket, uh, and it comes to your email, Google will just automatically start pinging you and be like, "Hey, this event, this thing you're doing. So if it's a plane ticket, like, hey, your trip to blah is here. This is how long it's gonna take you to the airport. You need to leave by now to make it to the flight." I love that. I don't change any of that.
yeah.
I don't want to ask for it. I don't want to set it up. Just do it. Just be like, look, here's some help. And if you don't want it, say no. Just hit dismiss. But if you do want it, it's there. That is what I want. And I
It,
wish my calendar, and then you can set your calendar up to an extent, but even then, I want it as close to having, I want it to be as close to having a human being who's just there to do it for me. So I want to, I
yeah.
want to book things and just be like, phone, book appointment, and then just have it take it. Like I don't even want to tell the phone what it is. Like you were here for the call, you figure it out, and then they deal with it, and then then later it's like, hey, that thing that you made me book without really saying anything about is happening now, and then I go do it. That's what I want. I'm never gonna get that, but I want that. I get that it's an unsafe level
I
of
want,
access to my life, but I want it.
I want that, but I want it in a, instead of having like an office assistant, like, have you seen the anime The Big
Yeah,
O? There was a an android named
yeah.
Dorothy. Like I want a
Or
Dorothy,
even
and
oh, Dorothy was like the little
she just
maid, right? It was like looked like a little maid. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like
Or
with the little bob
you've
haircut
seen
and
have you
stuff.
ever seen what is it? Have you ever seen Outlaw Star? Do you
Yeah,
remember the
yeah.
ship had the little tiny pills that it used to do stuff inside itself internally? It was like a
Oh,
little tiny pill shaped robots that had little arms that would do stuff for it inside it internally. I
yeah.
want that. I want
Man, I haven't
those.
seen that in
I love
forever.
Outlaw Star. It's a great show.
I was just organizing all the DVDs out there, and I was like, I saw the little box set I had of that Outlaw Star, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that in forever. Like,
the weirdly misogynist love story between Melfina and Gene, because Gene's not good for Melfina. I remember watching that as an adult and being like, "You need to make better choices, Melfina. Gene is not good. He does not treat you right. He hits you. He
there
beats
is
you.
so,
Gene is terrible for you.
yeah, yeah.
He's not good."
There's so much anime that is just
Yeah,
like, to a person who is, and I hate to say woke, but like when you do wake up, you see shit and you're like, holy fuck, I just didn't think of that
I think
before.
just you can
Like,
think of it as
and
just
I
being a
just
healthy functioning adult, because a lot of times you watch it as children, your perception of the world is different, and then as you get older, that perception may not change. As you become a healthy functioning adult and you perceive the world with empathy, a lot of this doesn't make sense. Like
yeah,
even I used to love, and I can't say I used to. I still love like Inuyasha, right? With him and Kagome,
yeah,
I 100% still love it. But Inuyasha's terrible for Kagome as well. Horrible, horrible choice.
yeah.
If you have to like,
Well, it's the same with Ranma. Ranma was the,
yeah,
Ranma one half, the same Rumiko Takahashi. I was just telling Rachel about that the other day, and I'm like, there's like another story, and I just started reading a manga by her recently. That's like a brand new manga. It's only on issue 2. Um, she's been making anime and manga since like the late 70s, and I'm like, this is,
yeah, this explains why these
and it's
themes
all,
are very, very misogynist. It
yeah,
explains
like,
these themes. It's and again, these are all anime that I personally enjoy. But even like there was another one that I remember. I think it's Desert Punk, where I went back and watched it as an adult, and I was like, this the lecherousness of and like it's a little bit much. It's like I can't. It's still too much. There's so much like 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 misogyny that is like kind of tucked away that I just can't. I was like, I can't. I can't really enjoy this. And like as a kid, I think I first saw it when I was like 17. So it's like this time when there was a big anime boom because of Dragon Ball Z and Adult Swim, and I think at the time Toonami. And so a lot of these shows I was introduced to because of that, and I kind of start digging through like a lot of different shows to see what I liked, and a lot of them have themes that I am uncomfortable with just because of just
yeah,
the time period and the difference in how the heterosexual relationship is viewed. I think it's interesting to me. I guess culturally for Japan, it's interesting to watch. Okay, but having said that, okay, so I realize that I have been going forever. I actually am at a stop, unfortunately, Matt. It's
okay.
unfortunate. I have to take off because I have some stuff I was supposed to do for my wife, and I have her laptop as well, which means she also can't do other stuff while she waits for me to do stuff for her.
No worries,
I
man.
apologize for that.
Yeah, we can always pick up another time. Like, there's always stuff to talk about, man.
Yeah.
It's just like we could, you know, um, but yeah, the anime thing with the whole, I'm a bit older than you, so it's like I've been watching Robotech, which
I
I
love
watched
Robotech.
as a
Yeah.
kid, and it's just so
Oh,
bad.
Thundercats.
Like,
Have
there's
you seen
just,
Thundercats? Like the original Thundercats, since like the animation on it is bad. Not just themes, the
yeah,
animation is terrible. I remember watching it as an adult and being like, I was into
but I
this.
still like, yeah, that's a weird thing too, because like the Teen Titans were saying that there was like a new Thundercats coming out, and it was the Thundercats Go,
Yeah.
or Thunder, no, Teen
Teen
Titans
Titans
Go. It's
Go. They did make
Teen Titans
a
Go,
new Thundercat animated series.
Thundercats Roar.
Yeah.
Thundercats Roar. And they were like, they were all about watching a new Thundercats, but they were like, what the hell is this shit? Basically, in the actual show. And they made fun of the new Thundercats, and they were like, no, we want the old
And what's
Thundercats.
crazy is that
And
the
and
old
and
Thundercats are terrible. The new one was really good.
it it was, but Chitara, man, like, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just
Okay. Fair. Fair. I think.
but okay,
I
man.
think.
Uh
We could. In fact, I want to pick this back up at some point. So unfortunately, I have to take off. But I do want to
okay.
ask: do we have enough for your show?
Oh yeah, we got
Do you
plenty.
want to? Do you want to
And I
record an
got the
outro?
few clips. Yeah, let's go ahead and give you a shout out, and tell everybody where to find you on social media. You're on from the Frown Town podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a great show. I need to catch up. I do need to catch up. I haven't listened in a
We have a lot
while,
of
but
episodes.
man, it's
We have a lot of episodes. I get it. So I am on social media, adjective_J, on both Twitter and on Instagram. I am on the Frown Town podcast. The Frown Town podcast is on social media at Frown Town Pod on Twitter and Instagram as well. Our podcast is a political podcast where we dive into laws. We talk about state, local, and national issues from a legislative standpoint, though sometimes we just kind of dive into some deep topics and also just some interesting topics. So we've done everything from whether or not Bigfoot exists to the existence of aliens to we recently covered Joe Biden's State of the Union address. We have talked about laws that are being enacted in both Texas and Florida, as well as laws that are happening all throughout the country on a national level, like, for instance, the daylight savings time law. We've talked about all of that on our show, and we'll cover a lot more. So come check us out. And yeah, Frown Town Pod with me and V. The
V
Yep,
Chatty.
the
Shout out.
yeah, shout out to V. I was gonna say we're the two coolest dudes to talk about politics on a podcast that has the name called Frown Town. That is who we are. Um, but yeah, definitely come check us out. It's a fun time, and the thing that we're shooting for that I'm really proud of is that we're fun and it's a lot of fun to listen to. But we also like try to make sure that there's some like actual knowledge in the episode as well, and things that you can learn, and we're trying to make sure that it makes like law and politics a little bit fun but a little bit more accessible for people. And I know this is I feel bad because I was like, hey, I gotta go, but then I'm like, look, I'm gonna talk for longer. But real quick, I want to say this. I've actually had this conversation with it was on stage during a show. I was on stage talking to another comedian during the show, and one of the things we talked about was that a lot of times when it comes to politics, that comedian doesn't feel comfortable talking about it because he doesn't know enough about it, and so they just say it's stupid or dumb and then move on. And I think politics are one of those interesting things where it is easy for us to move on from them, but so much of what we think of as modern life is governed by what happens legislatively, what happens by politics, that I want people to be more comfortable in the realm, in the arena of politics. And our show's purpose is to kind of get you more comfortable in that arena where we're using jokes, we're talking about things that are light to an extent, but also still kind of diving into law, talking about the impact, and really encouraging you to kind of, we're not lawyers, we're comedians, encouraging you as people who are probably smarter than us to dive in with us and learn a little bit with us.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, like, I mean, I can't stress it enough. As a person who did not pay attention to shit about politics growing up, like, it is important to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, this day, you have to, like, in order for us to progress and move forward and evolve in this culture and our society, we have to pay attention to what's going on, and it's very important. And you and V do a great job at laying things out, and I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I had V on a couple episodes
Yep.
ago, and you've been on before, and I look forward to talking to both of you again and to listening to more, because it's you guys don't sugarcoat things, but you do make the stuff easy to swallow. Wait,
Yeah.
does that
Yeah,
sound
we
right?
don't pull punches, but we make sure that it's fun, and we tell jokes, we laugh, but at the same time we try to make
Yeah.
sure that we're telling the truth, that we're honest, and also in many cases, the thing that I find most interesting is that a lot of the issues that people feel strongly about have ties to politics and legislation, and I think
Mm.
once that those ties are a little bit apparent, and once it's apparent that it's okay for you not to understand some of the big words in laws, it's okay for you not to understand every process or know every member of the cabinet. That's okay. You can still be a participant, an active and informed participant in the political process. I think once people are starting to realize that and get more comfortable with that, then they're able to have more impact and able to make headway. I think more progress on personal issues that they may are issues they may hold dear, but also just as wide national issues that touch them and everyone else.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, man. Everybody out there, thanks for listening. This has been another fine episode of the Wormhole Manifest podcast. A quick shout out to Awesome Rob 029. We did a episode last time about the Cowboy Bebop anime, and we compared the live action and the anime. little thing that went on last year or the end of last year, and that was a really good episode. And we need to dig back more into that because we could have covered a lot of stuff, and we kind of barely scratched the surface on that. But anyway, please leave us some feedback. I did get the thing fixed with the iTunes thing. The podcast was not being put on the for all the Apple people out there. I know I say all the time I don't like Apple, but if there's a million people out there that use Apple, so I appreciate you for using your devices. And if you want to listen to the show and you have so far since it's been fixed, you can find us on iTunes now. I want to be available everywhere. Let's see. Yeah. So thanks everybody for listening. You can find us on our website. The Twitter for the podcast is at WormFestPod, and Instagram is wormhole_manifest. And if you would like to send me an email, please feel free to do so at wormholemanifest, it's all one word, at gmail.com, and I will return it. And hopefully we can get some more cool, interesting people on the show in the future, and hopefully get some more people like Jay to come back and have these interesting discussions. It's awesome, man. I appreciate you. I love you. I love you and V. I love your show. Um, Man, I love all kinds of people out there, and I'm so grateful I'm in a place today where I can actually tell people that. And for many years I wasn't able to come out and openly say that I love people and I love to talk and I love, to just hear what people have to say and learn things, and just I'm very interested in everything. So
For what it's worth, we
thank
love
you
you
all
too.
for,
If it makes you feel better, we love you too. At Frown Town, you're always welcome to come and stop by at some point. Maybe you get to come to Frown Town. It'd be lovely for me, but it'd be wonderful if you could come on the show. And of course, I think I am always here for you and as a friend. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it.
man, I appreciate you, man. All right. Thanks. Thanks everybody out there. We will see you next time. Peace.